Okay, so we were here. Okay, we still have all of this to watch. Thank you for sending me this, I guess. Ah, jeez. But okay, let's proceed. Oh my god, so cute! Potatoes, Manzanita, thank you! Wow. Oh. Ooh. Oh, it's mango?
Hello, Internet. Welcome to... Screw it, you know by now. If I seem a bit off my game today, forgive me. You'll soon learn why. Pull up a chair, let's talk. Last episode caught you up on everything. And I do mean everything.
You know,
I
probably already forgot what was in the last
The
episode.
names of the children inside the animatronics, the connections to the novels, and the identity of the puppet. But then I showed you this. The FNAF
Yeah, true.
Survival Logbook.
I would actually solve that as a normal book. I would never take it as a book to read. I thought it was just for drawing and stuff.
Unlocking the identity of Golden Freddy. A freaking
The weird stuff is probably it's kind of dirty. It will not make sense for me, but I will solve it like the activities anyway.
Haunts me in my nightmares. But Golden Freddy's Unbreakable Code is only the tip
Oh,
of the
so
iceberg.
cute.
This book is like a repeated kick in the balls, as everything I thought I knew
Jeez.
about FNAF has crumbled in front of my eyes. It's like Freddy Fazbear got a hold of the Infinity Gauntlet and snapped his fingers, and then all of my
Really?
fears
Is it
suddenly
good?
turned up. Because unlike the novels, which have questionable canonicity, the survival logbook
I didn't know
outright
that
answers
I
a lot more
was,
questions
you know,
about these games. But the
I
answers
doubt if
that
the
it
FNAF
provides
movie was
just
based on the novels or
questions.
based on the
It's not
games. Thank you for
stupid
telling me
small
it's on the
questions either, like
novels.
what's Mangle's gender?
It's
No,
okay.
the
One day if you
huge
want, you read
parts
it.
of the
It's
story.
you don't
The
need to stress
logbook
out
is
about that.
simultaneously the most important,
When you
most
want to read, you
revealing,
read.
and most frustrating piece
Don't
of
press
evidence
yourself
ever
to do
being
that.
thrown into this franchise. You see, as I mentioned last time, this workbook once belonged to Mike, aka Michael Afton. The book establishes that Mike
Ooh.
writes his answers in red pen. It also establishes that there's a spirit
Band the Illusion
possessing
of
the book
Living.
who speaks to Mike via
Oh,
light.
Bendy has also
From what I can
books?
gather, it appears to be the
Bro, I
spirit
didn't know
of
that.
Golden
Thank
Freddy.
you.
And starting with that
How many
information,
books
the
there are?
logbook then
Because in
proceeds
FNAF there
to
are
drop
so a lot.
bombshell after bombshell.
Oh my god,
As
didn't
far
know
as
there
lore
were so
reviews
many
go.
books
First,
on
the book
games.
outright confirms what we've
Jeez.
known for a while now. That
The
Mike
only
is the
ones I
same Mike
have
who works as the night guard
are
during
like
Sister Week.
unofficial
When asked what he would like for his 1 week bonus, we see him doodling in the corners of
Minecraft
the
guides, and I
baskets of
love them.
honey and exotic butters. On
It's
another
okay, you
page,
don't
he's
need to
drawing a
know.
smooth set of
I was just
casual
curious.
Sure, it's nothing earth-shattering, but when it comes to this franchise, getting any portion of any theory confirmed is a big win. And while that reveal might not be all that earth-shattering, you know what is? The book reveals that Michael Afton is who we play as in FNAF 4. On page 40, the workbook starts asking about
Really?
dreams, and via his doodles, we see that Mike somehow knows the appearance of Nightmare Fredbear, something only the protagonist of FNAF 4
Okay, this is
used to be
weird.
aware of. To further confirm this, on page 23 of the book, the spirit who uses the book to talk to Mike outright asks, was your favorite
I have the Minecraft Locopedia. Oh my god, that sounds so cool. You know, I really love Minecraft and I love Minecraft books, and I one day plan to buy more Minecraft books. Since Lucian Caves update. You know, my books are still like really early Minecraft books, so they're kinda
Now, for the 8 of you who still remember how this whole freaking story came together, you
not
might be
updated
asking me,
anymore,
we all
but
thought the protagonist
I
of
love
that
them
book was
anyway.
the crying
I'm
child.
gonna search for that book later, because I really want to have my book of Minecraft's collection. But I will read it, I will not just let it there, you know.
And you know what? You're absolutely right.
Oh my god,
That
Rainbow,
is
let's go.
exactly what we've been thinking. And here's the thing. We weren't wrong. We've apparently been right about
Oh
all
yeah,
of
keep
that.
Teddy Bear.
Except there was one teeny tiny itsy bitsy little wrinkle that we didn't expect. Michael Afton was the bite victim. Michael Afton was the crying child.
It doesn't make
Oh,
sense.
I couldn't believe it either. But the proof here is unquestionable. On page 75, a page asking about imaginary friends and featuring the psychic friend Fredbear plush, the spirit
So cute.
outright asks, does he still talk to you? And perhaps the most damning piece of evidence of all, on page 103, the huge reveal, quote, the party was for you. Mike Afton is confirmed to be the crying child. He's the bite victim. He's the one who, at the end of the game, apparently needed to be put back together. It seems undeniable at this point. But then
I'm confused.
Obvious next question, how could he have been bitten and died there, but then also be in sister location as an adult, gotten himself scooped, blah, 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 until FNAF 6 when he finally burns with the rest of his family? I have been smacking my head against a wall trying to make sense of it all. And I have some theories. Big surprise there. It's interesting. When I did my final FNAF theory, not that one, my final FNAF theory. No, not that one either. Those are technically
You're so adorable, so good. You're so cute.
When I did this theory,
Thank you for the cute cat emote. Thank you. You're adorable. Be mine.
A story about a family, the Afton family. But now it's becoming
Kitty Patootie, go to YouTube and check out the short of the clip you made yesterday. Just for, you know, just go to see the numbers and stuff.
Growing up, discovering the atrocities of his father, and then trying to make amends for those. We know for a fact that Michael Afton is the main character of FNAF 1 from the endgame paycheck, sister location from the name tag and custom night.
See the numbers in here.
FNAF 6 from Henry's closing monologue, and now FNAF 4 from the survival logbook. And we're still
imagine if there's another mic, and we don't know, like, it's another mic, a random mic over there, and it's like, it can, well, if it would be mean. Oh, it's Mango.
Because it's the only one with a carousel. That means that the only game without a solid connection to Mike is FNAF 3, but then there's the whole...
Father, it's me.
Yeah, I guess.
Complete with a burned down Fazbear fright in the background, which seems to be hinting at
Delshil Gamer, famous, thank you, creator Kitty Patootie.
Father's reign of terror. Michael Afton even shares a connection with the dead
but what to do the next hour? Okay, I'll wait, don't you worry.
Back to the survival logbook. See, I told you guys this thing was important. When the book asks about missing people on account of them being stuffed into animatronic suits, the spirit asks, do you miss them? It clearly connects Michael Afton to the other missing kids who go on to possess the animatronic suits. This means that Michael is connected to every game and every major character in the story. So let's update it.
Okay, that's so cute, Tiny. Kitty mode, thank you.
Michael's story. Which is all very beautiful to say, but seriously, what is that story? If you've been paying attention, we still have a pretty big elephant in the room.
Thank you.
A dead kid.
Oh my god, I love those. Are so tiny.
Mortal purple skin suit for Roblox.
Oh my god, potatoes smells
complicated.
Thank you.
Michael might not even be his real name. The spirit in the logbook repeatedly asks him, "What do you remember?" And even more importantly, do you remember your name? It's even hidden in the freaking word search. And I haven't even mentioned the other elephants in the room, like how very clearly the gravestones relate to the kids in the animatronic suits, and yet two of those names directly tie back to the security guards from FNAF 2. And if you want to go really, really deep, like you know I love to do, you see Susie's font on her gravestone? Did you know
what is Gaia or Gaia Raid?
That's something that no one else online has noticed, and if fonts are important,
I don't know.
They probably are. Scott doesn't do coincidences.
Guide Raids.
Different
you choose who we're gonna raid.
Notice how two of the gravestones share the same font, but it's not Jeremy and Fritz, which you would probably expect since they're the two who are mentioned in FNAF 2. There are so many freaking elephants in this room. It is a very crowded room. Remember what I said earlier about repeated kicks to the crotch? This is what I'm talking about. That said, after months of thinking about this and more kicks to the crotch than I care to mention, I think
what language?
have an idea of what might be going on here. And
bro, let me see. I'm confused. Wait.
It all begins in probably the most confusing place of all, Midnight Motorist from FNAF 6. When I
Midnight Motorist?
I said that the mustard man here was William Afton, but I could tell that a lot of you weren't too convinced in my conclusion. And I'll be honest, I wasn't 100% sure of it either, but it was the best I could do at the time. But now I am. I am 100% confident that that is who we're seeing here. You see,
okay.
FNAF 6 is
Oh my god, so cute
the
pizza.
end of the story as well as the beginning. It's the end because, well, everyone burns to death. And it's the beginning because it's the origin story of the puppet. And as we know, everything begins with the puppet. She's the one that allows all the other animatronics to become possessed, as we see in FNAF 2, which makes the security puppet minigame pretty much the earliest event we ever see in any of these games. And we also know that it's William who killed Charlotte in that back alley. This is the origin story of the purple
sad,
guy
my god.
with his purple car that we saw in FNAF 2 after all. But here's
the purple guy uses purple everything, bro. Purple clothing, purple car.
Left by the
my god,
driving away from his crime. This leads directly to the events of Midnight Motorist, which happens immediately after his murder. Here's how we know this for sure. Not only are you driving a purple car, and not only is it raining in both of the minigames, so they're connected on both those fronts, but get this.
Yeah, the purple guy's obsessed with purple.
This section of the game in the source files is titled Later That Night, giving us the time connection we needed to know 100% that Orange Guy is William Afton. He kills Charlotte in the rain outside of Fredbear's, drives away, and winds up back home later that night. Boom! Proven, locked and loaded. And looking at this minigame, knowing what we know now about Michael being the crying child, we know that the couch potato here is his older brother. Mr. Foxy Mask let me shove my brother into an animatronic mouth and get him killed, speaking in his signature gray text, who apparently no longer has a name, which leaves Michael as the one who escaped to that place again. That is who William is mad at, with that place being obviously none other than Freddy's. And from there,
bro, he mad. Also cute tiny face. Oh, puzzle, yay!
Michael escaping explains why we see him have surveillance cameras all over his house and sister location. It's not an experiment or anything. He is literally keeping tabs on the boy who keeps running away. It also explains why we see Michael, the crying child, locked in his room throughout FNAF 4. William himself says at the end of Midnight Motorist that Michael will be sorry when he gets back. And he is, as William constantly locks him in his room, making him unable to escape anymore. All of this might even explain the rationale for the Nightmare animatronics. William built them, or else used his mind-altering sound disc that first appeared in the book and that we talked about in a previous series to scare Michael so that he would stop wanting to go to the restaurant in the first place. That's why he's so scared of the place when we see him in FNAF 4. I'm literally in the recording closet right now recording this, and suddenly things started to fit together in a weird way. I'm just gonna throw this in here right as it happened in my mind. I'll need to look into this later, probably a future theory, but let's
okay, but wasn't it a dream anyway?
Away at the front door of Junior's, which is completely random, and everyone's like, why is this in the minigame? Well, could it be because of the investigation into the missing children's incident? Remember what Phone Guy said from FNAF 2?
From what I understand, the building is on lockdown. No one is allowed in or out, you know, especially concerning any previous employees.
Afton is rejected at the front door of the building because of the lockdown, and because he's a previous employee. It makes the timeline a bit messy, and I'll have to go back.
Yeah, I guess it is messy already. Well, look at that.
Right. William Afton was fired from his job, goes back to Junior's, but the building is under investigation because of the missing children's incident. William, being a former employee, is turned away at the door. He's not allowed in. It's not a bar. It's nothing like that. It's Freddy Fazbear's Jr. or something.
What?
Second location. The FNAF 2 location. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that in there because it just occurred to me as I was writing this thing. I haven't had time to fully flesh it out or work it into the script, but I thought it was important enough to include, break the flow of things. Regardless, it gives us something else to chew on. Now back to the actual episode as I wrote it. Okay, I continue to avoid the obvious question here. Michael's death and apparent rebirth. If I'm being honest, it's because I don't...
So cute, it was an angel, but it fall down. Why?
It's less of a theory and more of a hypothesis, really.
Hypothesis.
So would you be so kind as to Freddy Fazbear with me
lol.
as I go through what I think might be happening here. We know that Michael Afton is special, right? I mean, we see him get scooped, become a pile of rotten flesh, and yet he's still able to survive. In short, when we see him in Sister Location, he's not altogether human. Now, hold on to that idea for a second for me. While we're on the topic of Sister Location, let's look at The Immortal and the Restless, the super random soap opera from the game with a name that now that I say it aloud in context, actually starts to make a little bit more sense. It stars
I guess.
Vlad, an immortal vampire who's dressed in purple who starts every episode saying,
Clara, I tell you, the baby isn't mine.
And in FNAF, we have William Afton, a man who's apparently immortal enough to survive a spring lock failure, who, like a vampire, sucks the remnant out of children, and who knows, maybe
Don't you tell me
survives
that
on it,
purple
and is
guy's a
represented by
vampire.
the color purple. It's actually a lot of similarities. So could the repeated lines
Bro, this is crazy and
Not my
funny.
baby. The baby isn't mine. The baby isn't mine.
actually relate to William's relationship with Michael? What if Michael isn't actually William's son? It seems like it would be a logical leap, but we know for a fact that Michael's real name isn't Michael. Remember what the logbook said. Do you remember your name? Well, of course he does.
Oh, it was
Logbook. He wrote it on the
adopted.
front cover, Mike, unless, of course, that's not his real name. So you got all those details? Good, because here's where all this random observation comes together. In the novels, one of the big overarching storylines is that the main character, Charlotte, had a twin who was kidnapped by Springtrap when she was younger. At the end of the second book, it's revealed that the twin wasn't actually kidnapped, it was her, which seems to imply that Charlotte and her twin were one and the same, or were somehow interchangeable. Then, in the final pages, Charlotte dies from a spring lock failure, only to miraculously come back to life unscathed in the next few days as if nothing had ever happened. There are also a lot of
This is so
clues throughout the
random.
book that William Afton has the ability to create hyper-realistic humanoid robots. I even mentioned that briefly during a past FNAF theory. I haven't even gotten to how I think the main character of the book series is probably a robot, but again, those are all theories for other days. Long story short, everything seems to point to Charlotte in the books being an AI. Maybe at one point she was a person, but
AI
she
7
died
years
or
ago,
was
let's go.
kidnapped at an early age, and ever since, her personality has been programmed into a computer where she's now able to be replicated over and over again into a super advanced robot that's somehow now able to grow and develop. I didn't write the books, okay? Now, obviously, the two are vastly different canons, but the games and books do relate in a lot of ways. And we know in the games from William's daughter Elizabeth that full-on personalities of individuals can get programmed into AI. Elizabeth goes on to possess the spirit of baby. So what if Michael is just one of those? Sure, he was killed in the
everything is getting scrapped and getting new theory again. I'm confused.
Literally put him back together. Find a way to piece him back together using some combination of robotics expertise and miracle soul juice remnant. That's how Michael dies in FNAF 4, but somehow comes back to life in later games. It's how he's able to get scooped, get a bunch of robot spaghetti shoved into him, and then still survive when the robot spaghetti gets puked out of him. It's why he would no longer be able to remember his original name. And after he realizes the truth about what he actually is, that he's no longer human, he decides to end it all in the inferno of FNAF 6, after having done his best to set the souls of his former friends free. Whew, boy, that is a lot. And between all the
I'm confused, bro. What is this?
There is a ton for us theorists to start chewing on. But now you get an idea of why I've been beating myself up for months trying to put this whole thing together. It upends mostly everything that we thought we knew about the franchise. Sure, it answers some of our questions like Midnight Motorist and a bit more about FNAF 4, but it opens
why laughing in the ground? What?
New avenues to explore. Anyway, the final book in the FNAF trilogy, The Fourth Closet, is coming out soon. I know a bunch of it leaked online already, but I'm trying to stay blind to it so as not to spoil anything in my theories. And even more exciting, Scott is releasing a custom night soon. So between those two, I am certain that there'll be more clues on the way helping us to come to a final conclusion to all of this.
They put you back together and take you apart all over again.
So until then, remember, it's all just a theory.
Is it them Sims 4? What?
Some gay
No way.
hypothesis thrown in there for good measure. Thanks for watching.
I think it is
By the way,
Sims
if you
4.
like FNAF theories and you haven't checked out our theories on Petscop, well then what are you waiting for? Check it out. Petscop is a lot like the new FNAF, except even more obscure and even more creepy, but you can't play the game, unfortunately. So anyway, that theory's to the left. And if you have any hopes of ever achieving a final answer as to the lore of this franchise, you know what you're gonna have to do, and that is jump scare that subscribe button. You've got 5 seconds to do it before the video ends. 5, 4, 3...
Oh, this time I didn't scare, yay. Ooh. Okay, let's see this.
Diary.
What
Yesterday
is
was
this?
so amazing. I met such a wonderful guy, and I know just how to get him.
I'm sorry for
By
swearing.
the end of the day, I just know it.
But
I'll
it's so
tell him that I
random.
solved the lore of his games and constructed a timeline. And once he's there, I'll have him. And once I have him, he'll be mine forever.
Bro, what is
One
this?
thing that could possibly go wrong.
Oh my god. So much dedication on the art. Oh, what is this?
How can Mangle be walking around in FNAF 2 before all the animatronics are possessed? How can Springtrap be experimenting with the
jeez.
Remnant when he's sealed in a wall? Answer me! I don't know. That's exactly what I worried might go wrong. No! No!
What is happening?
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory, getting burned by hippos since 2018.
Not every story has to have significance, you know? Sometimes, sometimes a story is just a story. You try to read into every little thing and find meaning in everything anyone says, you'll just drive yourself crazy.
Kinda harsh there, Scott. Speaking of stories,
I guess
last
it's
FNAF
true,
Theory, I
bro.
was at the lowest of lows. The survival logbook threw a lot of weird curveballs into the lore that I don't think anyone was really expecting. Reveals like Michael Afton being the bite victim were interesting, but also really difficult to explain away. And that's where things sat until now. With both the release of the final FNAF book, The Fourth Closet, and what seems to be the final FNAF game, Super FNAF Brothers Ultimate.
Bro, that's not the last one.
And now, with both these releases, we're finally in a position to see all the puzzle pieces we're working with, which means one last examination of the franchise from top to bottom, starting with Custom Night this week, and then next week stepping back and looking across the entire timeline to see if we can wrap things up in a neat blood-soaked bow now that we can see all the events and key players. So step through the curtain, Funtime Foxy, because the show's about to start. It's time for me to pull a Candy Cadet and tell you a story. A story of anger that never dies. A story of never-ending suffering. I'm not just talking about me trying to write these theories. Today, I tell you the story of how Ultimate Custom Night ends the FNAF franchise in the same place where it all began.
Bro, it did not finish. We still have like more 50 videos to watch.
Yeah,
my god.
But beyond being gaming's biggest troll, I mean, Scott has clearly taken a game that most of us assumed was just a fun little add-on to capstone the series and has used it to deliver a full-on 100% canon addition to the franchise. Complete with huge lore reveals mostly hidden in character dialogue once you die, which is pretty nice considering you die a lot in this game. A lot. Oh my god. Yeah, I totally let Night Marion kill me at 3 a.m. on purpose. I just really wanted to see what she would say in this case. What, you guys don't believe me?
What?
Seriously, I'm good at this game. I did it for the lore. I did it for the lore. Through these
I guess.
you immediately start piecing together what exactly is going on here. The first set of lines reveals that we're powerless to escape.
Okay.
We'll be making music together for a long, long time.
You know, it's kind of cute and creepy. Bro, no, that's scary.
Powerless is like music to me.
More voice lines indicate that not only are we trapped here for all eternity, we also can't die.
Some of them are cute and creepy, some of them are just scary. And look at this, it's scary.
That can't perish. Let's taste death again and again.
Yeah, this is scary.
You won't get tired
this is
of
cute.
dying, will you?
By the way, for those of you who don't have an encyclopedic knowledge of every element of this franchise, that Toy Chica line is actually a fun little callback to one of my favorite moments in the franchise. Foxy Fighters Update 1.2 for FNAF.
Wait, what?
You won't get tired of my voice, will you?
So anyway, our character here is kind of screwed, trapped for eternity in a never-ending cycle of torment and death. It should be
without the
pretty
beak, it's
obvious what's going
scary,
on
but
here, but I think
with
Jack
beak is
O'Chico
scary. I know
really
that's
sums up the
scary.
situation best. That's right. We're trapped in heck. H-E double hockey sticks.
No way.
Like my family always said, since we valued proper capitalization. And from there, it's just a hop, skip, and a karmic jump away from who we're playing as. None other than Springtrap himself, William Afton. Not only does a one-way ticket to hell follow up on the advice Henry gave us from FNAF 6,
although for one of you, the darkest pit of hell has opened to swallow you whole. So don't keep the devil waiting, old friend.
but more voice lines in Custom Night confirm our relationship to each of these characters.
We know who our friends are, and you are not one of them.
This is a callback
Oh my
to
god,
FNAF 4's
jeez.
We're Still Your Friends, Do You Still Believe That? But twisted on its head. If our character were someone like, say, Michael Afton, aka the Crying Child, aka another character who can't die, well then Fred
Oh my
Bear
god,
would
this is the
single us
cutest
out
star.
as not his friend. He's not an enemy to Michael because Michael never did anything to hurt him.
The fearful reflection of what you have created.
William Afton
Jeez.
killed Henry's daughter.
Many
Goes on
of
to
these,
become the puppet.
I don't
Nightmare
even know.
on here is the dark reflection of the puppet, thereby confirming that we're playing as William Afton. Even Ballora offers some clues that we're playing as William.
Admit it. You wanted to let me in.
Ballora's song and sister location was all about William hiding behind walls in the aftermath of his child's death, which left an empty room and an empty tomb in his life.
All is an empty room. No more joy, an empty tomb.
He shut everyone else out, but now that we're in William's personal hell, she's able to call him out for all his hidden feelings. William
Jeez.
wanted to let the woman that Ballora represents in, but he just couldn't do it thanks to his grief, hence her calling him out for his real desires. You wanted to let me in. So we're a murderer trapped in a personal hell of our own creation, forced to deal with the sins of our past for all eternity. Sound familiar? It should. It was my first ever FNAF theory. No joke. Way back in episode 1 of the FNAF series, I predicted
Bro, those
it
are
was
so
a game
cute
about
and
someone
tiny.
trapped in purgatory, tormented by their crimes for all eternity. Granted, the series had only just begun and the theory tied everything back to a real-life string of murders, but it's actually really awesome to think that we've come full circle. That, from a theory standpoint at least, these videos have circled back around to where it all began. It's poetic.
Yeah, but
A
now there's
beautiful,
more
horrific,
games.
child murdery bookend of a story. So thanks, Scott. I have no doubt that you structured your franchise's final send-off that way just so I could have an I told you so moment at the very end after years of getting thwarted by your twisting story. It's very nice of you to throw me a bone. Might as well call me Mangle. More on that next week. But of course, it wouldn't be FNAF if things were just that simple. No, it's not good enough for William to be held in a perpetual state of agony. There's something keeping us here. Looking through all the
Jeez,
voice
that's
lines,
scary.
there's one other entity that's mentioned over and over again. The one you should not have killed.
I am remade, but not by you, by the one you should not have killed. Greetings from the fire, and from the one you should not have killed.
Excuse me,
what?
what? The one I shouldn't have killed? You mean Voldemort? Oh, sorry, got him.
Yo,
confused with
Voldemort
you
is
about
on
that game.
this?
But seriously, the one I shouldn't have killed in a franchise.
Bro, but
titled
that
High with
guy
Underage
actually
Bodies.
made
Okay,
them
yeah, sure,
too.
all those other kids.
So he
yeah,
probably
they
someone
deserved
that
it, but
knows
that one right
animatronic
there,
stuff.
Yep, shouldn't have touched him. Now you're damned for all eternity. Sucks to be you. Anyway, this is the big mystery of the game. Who are they talking about? Well, by picking apart clues from all sorts of different locations, we can start piecing together who this one who must stay vague for lore purposes actually is. First, from the rest of the voice lines, we can identify that this character is a male.
Okay.
Here and always watching the one you shouldn't have killed.
Bro, oh,
Both
come
of them
on,
use
dude.
the
You should
pronouns
tell who
he
it
and
is.
him. We also know that this guy specifically has a vendetta against us. To understand that, we have to turn our attention to the true stars of Ultimate Custom Night, the mediocre melodies. Without
What?
question, this crew of duct-crawling rejects steal the spotlight in Ultimate Custom Night. Going from WTF are these guys doing here in FNAF 6 to breakout meme stars in
Sly,
Custom
let's
Night,
go.
Orville Elephant and the gang not only provide important life lessons,
He proceeded to pour me a glass of just ice-cold lemonade. Ooh, you ever mix it with iced tea? You do like half lemonade, half. Ooh, it's so. You should try it some. Well, you can't because you're dead.
they also
Oh my
deliver
god.
a huge lore
Kind
reveal.
of
For the
they're
most part,
cute,
their
I
lines
guess.
are pretty disposable, but very rarely you'll get a line from them that feels just a bit out of character.
We've only just begun. I will never let you leave. I will never let you rest. Was you ninja skills?
And if you listen
What?
closely, you'll hear a female voice echoing back what they're saying, almost as if they're puppets under someone else's control.
This is how it feels, and you get to experience it over and over. and over again. Forever. I will never let you leave.
Okay, but they're always saying the same stuff
this voice
now.
could be Baby. Not only does she sound similar,
I guess you forgot about me.
but a clue may also come from the merch. The Funko action
really?
figurines of the characters
Oh my
from
God, so
FNAF 6
cute.
all contain
Look at
one
that.
piece of
Look at
scrap.
her hat.
Collect all the figurines, collect all the pieces to form the character, which might seem like just a random detail until you consider that they did the same thing with every character in Sister Location, who would then go on to form Ennard. Each one contained a piece that helped to create what would eventually form the larger whole, just like Ennard himself. A bunch of the other animatronics all rolled into one entity. This is especially important when you consider that a key reveal from the final FNAF novel, The Fourth Closet, is that William Afton created the living Sister Location Funtime animatronics by extracting remnant from the melted conglomeration of all the OG animatronics and injecting the new robots with it. Thus, all the new robots were alive and sharing a piece of the same set of souls, just like if the pieces of Baby/Ennard.
You're telling me that this guy transfers souls?
That's why Baby's voice would be heard across all of them. Does that make sense? Good. Now throw it away because there's another
how
explanation.
he has the
That
power
this
to
is the
transfer
voice of the one you
souls.
should not have killed. As you can tell at this point, Ultimate Custom Night had a huge amount of voice acting. And the nice thing about voice acting is that you need to hire, you know, actors, which means job postings. So of course, for this game, Scott needed to make a ton of casting calls on the site voices.com, all identifying the roles that the actors would be playing. Some of the roles were obvious: Nightmare Balloon Boy, Pig Patch, Withered Chica, etc., etc. All characters that we're familiar with. Other casting calls, though, were a bit more vague. Monster, Character in Whisper, Little Girl, Annoying Girl, Vengeful Spirit. Now, if you track all of the job postings, you can actually identify every single role by who plays them. Monster is Jacko Chica. Character in Whisper is Trash in the Gang. Little Girl is the puppet. Annoying Girl is Dee Dee. Scott kept them vague so as not to ruin any surprises.
Never
You can
saw
actually
this.
identify each and every role, except for one. Vengeful Spirit, played by Tabitha Skanes. It's the only one that doesn't match up to any explicit character in the game. But we know for a fact it exists, since Scott himself left Tabitha an excellent review. 5 stars! Well done, Tabitha. So what is the Vengeful Spirit? Well, according to the casting call, quote, "This is for the voice of a young child who speaks in a whisper from the shadows." That sounds a lot like the voice that's whispering in the background of our merry band of rejects. This child is in control and is toying with the player, who's helpless to change their situation or prevent their inevitable end.
There's all lore in there.
Being trapped in HE double hockey sticks will do that to ya. The gender should not be immediately clear. It should work as either a young boy or a young girl, and you're welcome to do readings leaning one way or another. Ding, 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 ladies and gentlemen, we have our winner. A puppeteer that's manipulating things from the shadows. A spirit who's out for revenge. A spirit who just so happens to occasionally show its face during game over screens. Yes, that creepy image of a face that's been haunting thumbnails of Ultimate Custom Night, that is the face of our vengeful spirit. A spirit who, based on its last line, has an axe to grind and intends to enact revenge by keeping us tormented for all eternity.
He tried to release you. He tried to release us. But I'm not gonna let that happen. I will hold you here. I will keep you here, no matter how many times they burn us.
He tried to release you, but I'm not gonna let that happen. I will hold you here? Yikes. Somebody's gotta get themselves a new hobby. But this is an important line, since by now many of you have probably seen the Old Man Consequences Easter egg. If you set the character Old Man Consequences to level 1 difficulty and then complete his minigame, you get taken through a glitch to Old Man Consequences Pond, a character from FNAF World who encourages the spirit to, quote, "leave the demon to his demons. Rest your own soul. There's nothing else." He's encouraging the angry spirit to finally rest, to give it up, to move on, instead of just chasing down the demon, William Afton, and spending eternity enacting revenge. But that all leads to the question, who is this vengeful spirit? The one William should not have killed? Well, it's Golden Freddy. For proof, look no further than the final cutscene game. If you manage to get the nearly impossible score of 9,800, 49 animatronics at full difficulty, you see Golden Freddy in his FNAF 1 form twitching.
Bro, it's scary.
He's twitching just like Springtrap did in the trailers to FNAF 3. Someone else who refused to give up, to pass on. Someone who always comes back. And just to dispel any confusion here, Golden Freddy isn't the crying child. This confirms that Golden Freddy is actually a victim that we've never actually seen outside of the FNAF 3 minigames, nor will ever see outside of that phase in the vent. But more on that next video, that final timeline episode I got cooking up. If you want to make sure that you see it, hit subscribe now, that way you don't miss it, because seriously, that is the one that wraps everything up. If there was ever a time to subscribe, now is that time. But anyway, Golden Freddy is the soul that's still trapped, one that refuses to let go of his hate, his rage. We even hear it in his line. He tried to release us, but I'm not gonna let that happen, no matter how many times they burn us. In FNAF 3, the puppet tried to release everyone through the Happiest Day minigame. Fazbear Flight was burned down in an attempt to cleanse Freddy's. Pizzeria Simulator was burned to the ground. None of it has worked. The spirit of revenge is and always will be there until he chooses to let go. That's why he's still twitching as he fades into the darkness. That's why his eyes are still white as he disappears. He is choosing to remain here, to continue tormenting William, to ignore Old Man Consequences, encouraging him to move on to the next life. You know, this might be what Scott truly meant when he said that 50-20 mode in this game was impossible. Not just that it would be unbelievably difficult to overcome, which, let's face it, it is, but that there's no victory here. That no matter how good a player you are, there's
no way to it. What was that?
There is no escape. That even if you play it perfectly, William is trapped, and there is no happy ending for Golden Freddy. In fact, you playing the game is continuing Golden Freddy's cycle of revenge. Old Man Consequence's message might be for Golden Freddy. Absolutely, rest your soul. There is nothing else, but it's also probably directed at us. I mean, we play and play and play this game for hours upon hours upon hours, achieving higher and higher and higher stats in a game that's incredibly difficult, and what do we get from it? A cutscene that's kind of underwhelming. Actually, perhaps Old Man Consequence's message was for Golden Freddy, sure, but also for us. Rest your own soul. There is nothing else. There is no deeper ending here. There is no satisfaction. This is it. And by choosing to play, we keep William's cycle of torment alive. We are literally Golden Freddy forcing William through this over and over and over again. Refusing to move on. Refusing to accept that there is nothing else. It's perhaps the most satisfying, unsatisfying conclusion in all of gaming. And as far as your gameplay affecting character decisions, well, it doesn't get any more seamless than that. In the end, the truth is as plain as day. You are Golden Freddy. Next week, the grand conclusion as I break down literally everything else in this game and all the other games and the books as we try to piece together one mega final timeline. I told Stephanie the other day that I was reworking the FNAF timeline. She's like, what is this, like the 80th time? And I'm like, yeah, pretty much. So place your bets now as to where you think the events are going to fall.
So many timelines now.
Subscribe so you're notified of the new video. And most importantly of all, remember, that's just a theory. A game theory.
Why is on there?
Proving me right for a change, Scott. Hi, I'm Masahiro Sakurai. Today, I'd like to introduce you to the new Super Smash Bros. Game for the Nintendo Switch. Many fighters have appeared in this series. I'm sure you're all eager to find out who'll be joining the roster this time. Please, take a look.
Ooh. Super Smash Bros, I guess. Oh, new intro. I know it's the same one. I know it's not.
Hello, Internet. Welcome to Game Theory, the William Afton of YouTube.
I always come back.
So here's something crazy. You know how every FNAF game tends to have 5 main nights, a bonus 6th night that gets you more lore hits, and then a challenge mode 7th night where you customize all the animatronics? Well, look at the games. We have 5 main games bearing the 5 nights title, a bonus 6th game that was mostly for lore, and now a 7th standalone release where you customize the animatronics. The game releases directly mirror the gameplay. Either Scott is a mad genius, or I'm thinking about way too hard.
You try to read into every little thing and find meaning in everything anyone says, you'll just drive yourself crazy.
I heard you last time, Mr. Hippo. But guess what, you Barney reject? Reading into every little thing is the only way to have this series make any sort of sense whatsoever. Case in point, today's episode. With the final novel out and Ultimate Custom Night picked to shreds, it finally feels like the story of FNAF is at its end. Or at least the Afton storyline is at its end. The series will probably come back to tell another story in the same universe later. I mean, it's exactly what Scott did with FNAF 4, the quote-unquote final chapter, of the original FNAF story. I see what you did there, Scotty. It's the final chapter of the original story. But oh no, friends, he wasn't done. He even ended that teaser with a question mark if you brighten that screen up enough. Man, Scott, you really wanted to leave the door open for more games of this series, didn't ya? You were milking it more than I was. Or, I guess we're both milkmaids at the teat of Freddy Fazbear. As they say in FNAF world, pieces are in place for us. So it's time to take one final step back and put every single one of those pieces together into this, my final timeline for the final FNAF game. Though, let me save you some work. If you brighten the image you see on screen right now, you'll see that there's a question mark there, since, you know,
I always come back.
And if he comes back, well, I gotta pull myself a Samurai Freddy and pursue the anime fox of truth wherever it may lead. Let's do this. Now, putting together a final timeline of events for this series is incredibly challenging and requires us covering a lot of really minute details from literally every element the series has ever released. This is my longest, most involved theory in 7 years, covering every square inch of the series. So fair warning that this episode is not for the faint of heart. It is extreme. A way for me to simultaneously flex my knowledge of the minutiae of this series, all while trying to come up with a satisfactory answer to pretty much every question it has ever thrown our way. And of course, there are some questions that don't have clean answers, which I'll be calling out for you as I go. So for those of you who want to take the challenge and attempt a timeline on your own, let me first explain my thought process. As I was writing this episode, there are 3 hard and fast rules that I applied. First, it's important to note that I put greater emphasis on information that was released more recently in the series. While, yes, everything in the series is important, by FNAF 4 and even more so Sister Location, we can assume that Scott had a complete picture of the story in his mind. It's easy to forget that FNAF 1 was going to be Scott's final game after years of trying to be a game designer and hitting dead ends. Do you really think that he imagined a lore so deep that it would cover 8 games, 5 books, and countless teasers? That he predicted his story would be so massively popular that it would involve undead purple people way back when we were all just making memes about Foxy Swiggity Swooty coming for that booty? Probably not. So it's safe to assume that the newest information we're getting in the games is the most accurate in pointing to the final story he's looking to tell. So that's rule number 1. Rule number 2, adhering to key dates and events. Now, there isn't much that's certain in this story, which means that the things we do know must serve as fixed points that the other details fit around. We know for a fact from FNAF 1 phone calls that the animatronics are allowed to walk around freely until the bite of 87. We know from FNAF 3 calls that the golden spring-lock suits are eventually retired to a back room after a tragedy at a sister location, the FNAF 4 bite, which itself takes place in 1983. FNAF 3 also tells us that at some point William Afton tries to dismantle the robots, whose spirits rebel, causing him to become Springtrap, eventually getting himself sealed up behind a wall until the workers at Fazbear Fright discover his body and set him loose again. Details like those have to be our guideposts if we're having any hopes of getting anywhere in the story. And lastly, rule number 3, realizing that this isn't just a simple linear timeline. It's clearly established in the games that multiple Fazbear locations exist at the same time, and that the events in one affect what happens in other locations. For proof, just look at Phone Guy in FNAF 3.
Welcome to your new career as a performer/entertainer for Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Right now, we have 2 specially designed that double as both animatronics and suits. After learning of an unfortunate incident at the sister location involving multiple and simultaneous spring lock failures, The company has deemed the suit to be temporarily unfit for employees.
This not only tells us that the first Freddy Fazbear's Pizza had 2 golden suits, but also that the first Freddy's was open at the same time as the FNAF 4 Freddy's. The spring lock failure in the FNAF 4 location prompted the yellow suit to be retired in the FNAF 1 location. In short, a lot of these events overlap. Restaurants often stay open for years beyond what we see in the games, and everything weaves together in a way that's much more complicated than simply saying, this restaurant opened, kids died, it closed. The next one opened, kids died again, it closed. In all honesty, I suppose you could simplify it to that level, but we're not going to. I am holding myself to a higher standard. A slightly higher standard, but a higher standard nonetheless. So with those 3 logical rules in place, let's get analyzing. To begin, we have to identify who William's first victim was. Now, I've covered FNAF
I guess.
a lot, but in all my theories, one
But the rest I tried to make everything free.
Wasn't due to murders or animatronics going haywire. According to the FNAF 1 newspapers, people just got weirded out by a place where kids disappeared. Quote, after a long struggle to stay in business after the tragedy that took place there many years ago, Freddy Fazbear's Pizza has announced...
Thank you for the potatoes, Manzanita stickers.
That the missing children's incident where 5 kids go missing at a Freddy Fazbear's Pizza must be the first event of the timeline. William Afton uses the Spring Bonnie suit to lure 5 kids to the back employees-only safe rooms that we hear about in FNAF 3, hiding their dead bodies in the animatronic suit.
Bro, that's so
even figure out the
creepy.
order of who was killed when based on clues hidden in Ultimate Custom Night. We know with 100% certainty that Chica was first based on one of her
Was
death
it not the
lines.
puppets?
That's about as
Thank you for the Can Touch Me sticker.
That Chica's first because it really should have been Golden Freddy, so he could be the first spirit killed and the final spirit to haunt Afton in Custom Night, but whatever. Chica, aka Susie, is death number 1. She's lured away by Afton, telling her that her dog died.
Bro, it is so
FNAF 6's
depressing.
Fruity Maze. We also read about it in the 4th closet. Quote, beside them was a little girl with blonde curls. I heard Daddy say he was hit by a car, but I knew it wasn't true. Bonnie told me it wasn't true. He said he found my puppy. And did he take you to your puppy? He took me, but I don't remember. My name's Susie. We even hear about it in the Chica anime
That's so
cutscenes
random.
from Custom Nights.
I told him that someone
Why
ran over
that
his
rhyme
dog
so
in
well
front of my
made?
house.
Jeez, Scott, I know we were all looking for answers, but man, you beat that one over the head, didn't ya? Not that I'm complaining, but that one was a bit overly obvious, and then all the other ones are just so damn obscure. Just gotta find a better balance here, man. From there, we know that 4
Bro,
other
so
kids
cute,
get
tiny
stuck into
chicas.
suits. We know their names based on the gravestones at the end of FNAF 6. Gabriel, Fritz, Jeremy, and... Grass. Hey,
Grass.
who are we to judge what other people name their kids? Probably some celebrity's kid. Oh, you must meet my children. This is Apple, Audio Science, and Grass. All joking
Sly,
aside,
let's
the loyal
go.
viewers will remember this last grave was giving me a lot of trouble during a past theory. You see, this book, the FNAF Survival Logbook, holds a ton of reveals about the franchise, but they're all hidden in code. Some I was able to deduce, some left me stumped. But a few hours after releasing my video covering the book, the mystery was solved by the brilliant deduction of game theorist subreddit user D Powerful One.
Okay.
D Powerful One used the numbers that I had found, 52, 39, 15, 7, 2, 10, 11, 8, and 11, and put them not into an alphabet grid for ciphers like I'd been doing and like the book was clearly hinting towards, but instead put them into the word search. Of all places. Using the numbers as coordinates in the word search, you could spell the name Cassidy, a name that must belong to Golden Freddy based on the repeated use of Golden Freddy's signature line of "It's me" throughout the book, the gravestone imagery which lines up with the 5th mystery gravestone at the end of FNAF 6, and
Bro,
a mention
no
of
way they
Cassidy
found
in
the
final
name.
FNAF novel, The 4th Closet. And that would be more than enough proof, but it's not all. In the novel, Cassidy is described as a girl with black hair. And what do we see in the logbook? The puppet giving cake to a little girl with black hair. The only
so
human
cute.
child in the logbook, no less. And it's happening on a page talking about your happiest day. A direct reference to the happiest day minigame from FNAF 3, where the puppet gives cake to Golden Freddy in an effort to release its soul. You can even hear a girlish laugh every time Golden Freddy is summoned way back in FNAF 1. Literally every everything about this reveal lines up. Everything, of course, except for the pronoun of he being used to talk about the one you should not have killed throughout custom
Bro,
night, which, as we
I
established
guess when
last
they
episode, is
become a
referring to
robot, they're
Golden Freddy.
different.
But consider this, Golden Freddy is a male character. He's Freddy Fazbear, he's Fredbear, regardless of the spirit that possesses it. So the gender confusion works here. Scott even used that to his advantage in the casting call, where he was specifically looking for auditions where, quote, the gender should not be immediately clear. It should work as either a young boy or a young girl. FNAF, teaching kids that gender is fluid, but only if you spend 4 years picking apart its obscure lore. Yeah, by the way, FNAF is 4 years old this August. It's crazy, right? Wow, I've been doing this for a long time.
Bro, now
The
it's
last thing
like,
to say
what,
about
10
Golden
years?
Freddy is proving that he gets possessed here, at the first Freddy Fazbear Pizza location rather than in FNAF 4 like most of us have assumed in the past. You see, in Ultimate Custom Night, you get an item called a Death Coin that can eliminate one animatronic from the game. But if you use it on Golden Freddy, you don't eliminate him from the game, you just get jump scared by Fredbear, and then hear some strange sounds.
Jeez. What?
Huh. It almost sounds like Fredbear is underwater, which we all know is going to be terrible for those spring locks.
True.
Anyway, I played around with those audio files and got him to hear. Laughter, obviously.
Ooh.
Let's find a suit that's right for you.
Okay.
And there was more fantasy and fun where I came from. That
Jesus,
last one
people have to
feels
take
really
these
real,
audios
right?
and,
Like, I'm an angry
work
spirit
on
who
them
just
to see
killed
what
you,
he's
but let me tell you about
saying.
my love of
Jeez.
fantasy, fairies, and long walks on the beach first. I'm very in touch with my emotions. However, the phrase fantasy and fun is a direct reference to the first game in the franchise, where Phone Guy welcomes you to
Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, a magical place for kids and grown-ups alike, where fantasy and fun come to life.
It's Scott telling us that Golden Freddy is the same spirit who speaks to the crying child via the Fredbear plush at the end of FNAF 4, but who dates all the way back to the first pizzeria and the missing children's incident. Phew, you got all that? Good, because that's the easy stuff. Well, not easy, obviously, considering I'm on page 4 of this script and I've only just talked about the first event in the series. But there is consistent logic and evidence to back it all up. However, it's at this point that things get messy from a timeline standpoint. You see, right now there are two dangling threads of events that directly conflict with each other. One, the first Freddy Fazbear location has to close so it can reopen sometime before 1987. However, it has to remain open at least until 1983 when the FNAF 4 bite happens. The event that prompts Phone Guy to call back to the FNAF 1 location informing them that the Springlock suits are being retired.
Welcome to your new career as a performer.
Noifels, get warm, please! Noifels, get the heater! Get the jacket! Don't get cold, please! Oh my god! Please get warm, Noifels! I don't want it to get cold.
This is important because Phone Guy later makes a point of saying that the Spring Bonnie suit is still being moved.
Management has also been made aware that the Spring Bonnie animatronic has been noticeably moved.
Which implies that
my cat is warning me.
To kill kids,
Please.
aka
Oh, that's so cute, Noifels. See, your cat loves you. I'm back. What did I miss? Basically, my computer crashed watching YouTube, and VC Face crashed so hard it didn't open, but it ran in the background. I had to restart my computer, and it went blank for like 3 minutes.
It was clear that the stage was set. No
yeah, not much, but yeah. Oh, sweetie, don't worry. So everything is okay.
The empty girl's bedroom that we see in FNAF 4. As we established in a previous episode using the FNAF survival logbook, the crying child is Michael Afton, which would make this his sister's room, Elizabeth Afton, the girl who gets herself clawed and goes on to possess Baby on the opening day of Baby's Pizzeria. That's why she's missing and why her room is empty. But that can't happen if Freddy's is still open, and Freddy's can't be closed until the night of 83 causes the spring locks to be retired so that Phone Guy can make his call. You see the problem there? Do you understand why creating a timeline of all this stuff is so darn complicated? Anyway, to move forward, we have to apply rule number 1 that I talked about earlier and throw out some of the Phone Guy information in order for the events to work. Freddy Fazbear's first location closes in the aftermath of the missing children's incident. With no pizzeria to serve as his murder den, Afton tries to launch a new restaurant, Circus Baby's Pizza World. It's important to note that this is an actual restaurant and not the underground rental service you see in sister location. We'll get to that one much later. Based on the name, we can be confident that this place has a clown aesthetic, which makes it likely that all the animatronics who don't fit into the Freddy Fazbear series of restaurants were made specifically for this place. The Mini-Renas, Balloon Boy, JJ, Dee Dee, and of course, the star attraction, Baby. Notice how they all even look alike. However, on day one, resident Elizabeth, Afton's daughter, finds herself alone with Baby and gets herself robbed. We know
Thank you.
One, both from Baby's store
I stretched.
Did you know that I was on stage once? It wasn't for very long. Only one day.
And from this hidden news story about a supposed gas leak posted on Scott's website in the lead up to the release of the game.
It goes well.
Explains a lot.
Just watching for a health. You're adorable, my love. Oh my god, cute pets. Thank you.
With stomach mouths. And why William locks Michael in his room and has so many surveillance cameras following him around. He doesn't want what happened to his daughter to also happen to his youngest son. You see why it's so important for Circus Baby's Pizza World to happen before the events of FNAF 4? Before 1983? A lot of pieces fit in place if it does. Anyway, in the aftermath of the tragedy, he buries Baby and most of the other humanoid characters underground in a facility that we'll eventually explore in sister location. The rest go on to the new and improved Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, which is set to reopen. But first, running parallel to all of this, and I mean all of it, is Fredbear's Family Diner.
This is so confusing already. I'm just lost.
Actually
thank you for the sticker.
Guy during his FNAF 3 calls about spring locks.
An unfortunate incident at the sister location.
The fact that Fredbear's Family Diner is the FNAF 4 location based on this purple hat teaser that came out with the release.
Yeah, Knife Falls. Oh no, you have cold hands.
Fill in the blanks and you get yourself.
Knife Falls, get warm, please. Get some gloves.
That it should fit here
get the plushie.
Because of one small detail that Scott made
note
of with
warm
the
them.
FNAF 4's Halloween edition. While Nightmare Puppet and Nightmare Mangle weren't canon, he made it clear that Nightmare Balloon Boy was. Now, if I'm right about Circus Baby's Pizza World and the red-cheeked design,
oh my god, 2 times.
Crying Child would have come across Balloon Boy. He existed at this point in the timeline, but because both the puppet and Mangle don't exist until
wait, I have to feel my.
Neither of them will be appearing in his nightmares, therefore not canon.
Wait, I will get more watch.
To make sense. So at this point, we know how the story goes. William is working there as what appears to be a suit technician. Michael Afton, aka the Crying Child, has witnessed his friends and maybe even his sister get killed. I mean, he's even locked in the supply closet with what appears to be the body of Golden Freddy.
Safety is top priority in Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, which is why the closet is retired to an appropriate location while being looked at by our technician.
At the end of the week, at his
let me get water. Wait, so much irritation, Marcos. Okay, let's drink.
Remind them that they're still here for him, and the whole incident
calm
goes down in
down.
history as the
okay, let's go.
Based on both the TV Easter egg in FNAF 4 and the code in Sister Location Secret Room.
More tree.
But again, it's here that we hit another little wrinkle. You see, in the FNAF survival logbook, it asks Michael whether his favorite ride was the carousel, a feature that was only present in the FNAF 2 restaurant. This also coincides with my hypothesis earlier about the Midnight Motorist minigame and Junior being another name for
what? Are you so adorable? You all adorable.
That place that he's going to is indeed him running out to the new Freddy Fazbear's location.
I hope you like the rewards.
In 1983, and that the FNAF 2 location is open in 1987 based on the
I hope you like those.
Fortunately, though, there's an elegant solution this time. The FNAF 2 location is just open earlier than we thought. Remember, Fredbear's Family Diner being open doesn't preclude a new Freddy's location from also being open at the same time. The new and improved Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria is just open earlier
because they help you stay healthy. Thank you!
And continuing through 1987 when a new series of
I translated them all.
Gets it closed down. This all allows Michael to visit that place again, have the carousel be his favorite, but still die in 1983. Because William doesn't want to lose another child, especially since he's in his own killing spree.
I need to get to work, but I have my cat on me. No false. Say to your cat to go grab the book for you. Maybe the cat will do that. Maybe not, but you can try.
Hence why Michael is so scared.
I guess.
In FNAF 4. Additionally, Ultimate
you know, I tried that, never worked, but maybe it worked. Oh, don't cry, no false. Cute tiny face also. Just give up cats to Supreme. I guess.
Your torment. mentor.
Both these lines indicate
I
that
don't want to
before,
disturb
they were
it.
just an
Okay,
illusion,
no
they had
false.
no flesh. But now,
You
in
can
this
read
game,
a book
they
in the
are
phone,
real.
can
Contrary
you?
to popular belief, these things were never real
I guess
animatronics.
you
Just a
can.
glorified way for
I'm
William
not
to
sure.
keep his son away from his murder locations. Except, obviously, it didn't work. Despite his best, well, maybe not his best, but definitely his most stalkerish efforts, Michael gets crunched and dies. A fact that becomes very problematic for the timeline, considering that Michael Afton clearly survives till the end of the games. We see him in Sister Location. We watch him get scooped. We hear about him burning in FNAF 6. How is all of that possible if he's already dead?
True.
Surprisingly, there is a way to solve it, and I have the evidence to prove it, but sadly it'll have to wait until next time.
Okay.
This ended up being a 12-page script, which
Jeez.
there's no way that we can do all in 1 week. So in the words of Dee Dee, how unfortunate, how unfortunate. This
It's
is the
okay.
thing I hate to do, but the rest has to go in a part 2. Anyway, don't worry, we'll get it out as fast as possible. It's
How many views
already written. We just
remaining?
need to divide this up for editing.
64.
In the meantime, though, make sure you jump scare that subscribe button to, well, who knows what it does at this point, but it makes me feel good about the effort I put into this video, which is really nice. So make me feel good. It
I'm
also
sorry.
improves the likelihood that you're going to see the conclusion of this episode, which is even better. And in the meantime, if you missed my last FNAF
Yeah,
series,
we
well,
still
watch
need
the ones from
64
FNAF 6
videos.
linked
Look
on
at
screen
this.
right now. You'll need them to really understand part 2 of this theory when we get into the more recent events. Now, if you'll excuse me, remember, that's just a theory. A game theory. I've got to go roll into recording part 2 right now, so I'm going to go do that. Yeehaw! Final FNAF theories.
Slay, I guess.
Anyway, now that we've spent an entire
I'm
episode
sorry, I'm
chronicling the
watching
fictional
what people
deaths of 10
send
to
me.
12. Oh, no, I forgot the puppet, so that brings it up to a baker's dozen of 13. Now that we've accounted for all those children's heinous murders, let's talk about security. No, really, as it turns out, you don't need a human-sized security puppet wandering around your house to keep you safe. But
Okay.
you could probably use a VPN. They're smaller, they require less maintenance, and they are like 100% less murdery. Conveniently, the sponsor for today's episode is NordVPN, which, if you've never used a VPN before, is a great place to start.
Oh, so
I've
cute.
talked about online security and VPNs in a lot of other episodes. From the whole Watch_Dog series to a full episode of Game Lab where I hung out with real-world hackers. If you haven't seen those, you should probably check them out because they're what started my interest in using VPNs to begin with. Before that, I didn't really even know what a VPN was. But the short story about them is that they're a program that redirects all the data that comes in and out of your computer from the internet, thereby making it a lot harder for someone to hack you or
No
for
problem,
other
it is
malicious stuff to happen to
only
your
possibility
devices.
is
It's
from
basically
that
like
time
your
if
own
it's over
personal
2
internet
hours.
filter. And there are two things that I like a
Okay.
lot better about Nord than other VPNs because, like I said, after those Watch_Dogs episodes, I've tried.
You
a
know,
bunch.
a creator,
First,
you're
Nord
like an
allows you to connect
administrator.
6
You can,
devices
like,
with just one subscription,
warn
meaning that you don't
and
have to feel
take
wonky
out
about connecting to
the
public Wi-Fi
ones that
anymore,
you
whether
don't
it's
want
using your
me to
computer at
watch.
McDonald's or your phone
I
at
think
Wendy's.
it's
I just
okay.
really like fast food and the internet and the combination of both those things, okay? Second, the Theorist team and I actually tested Nord's connection speeds
True.
relative to other VPNs that we've tried in the past.
It's
and
gonna take a long time, and then I have the MTDM playlist to watch. It's gonna take a while.
The single most important thing about a VPN. So if you've been
Sorry,
worried about connecting
Noifels.
to a sketchy Wi-Fi network somewhere,
I don't
if you
know
have
what to do.
roommates who are fast and loose with your home internet password, or you just want a little bit more protection for all your personal information,
I
give
try
yourself
to,
some peace
you know,
of
make
mind and
everyone
check out
happy.
Nord. There's a link to them down in the description
But
below.
sometimes
so click
it
it
is
down
too
there,
much,
or
but I
simply
try my
head to
best.
nordvpn.com/madpat, where they're having a huge discount off of their subscriptions with our code. Seriously, it is almost 80% off, which is massive. So go and do it now. Protect
It's okay.
yourself
Oh my God,
the
Kitten
Theorist way.
Face, thank
Hackers
you.
are way scarier than animatronics. I don't know what you're still waiting for. Security Puppet was not effective. I mean, look at how many kids still died. What were they thinking?
Okay, let's proceed.
Dear Diary,
What is this, bro?
amazing.
We are here, we are with you, and we can still chat. True.
Psyche Fred, this time you'll have to keep up with me.
You know, I want to watch everything you send. I want to make all of you happy.
Exotic.
But
I like watching the stuff you send. Sometimes it's gonna take a long time to finish.
Hello, Internet.
I really just say divine instead of divine.
Close the book on our final FNAF theory. It's time to open the book.
I
on
guess
new
that's
Back to
okay, no
School
false.
merch.
You have also to prioritize yourself. I'm good with this. It's okay. It can be boring for the other people watching. That's the truth. because I don't have problems
Summer
watching
vacation merch. Anyway, you guys know that I take merch super
Divine.
seriously.
I don't know,
This
bro.
time, I wanted to try something really different. You guys clearly like mysteries and theories, right? Well, this is, as far as I know, the first ever YouTuber merch that gets totally meta. That's right.
What?
I've personally made a real-world mystery for you to solve alongside the rest of the theorist community hidden inside of this
No
round of
way.
merch. This first one isn't too hard. It's about a 5-step treasure.
Well,
but it's
Mel
something I'd
said
like
it
to do
was
moving forward
actually
with all future
Divine.
merch pushes, so, you know, if this
I
one
guess,
gets you
no,
warmed
if also
up,
I guess
future
that's
ones are gonna
right.
get real serious. Oh, and of course, there's a real-life reward to the first
Also
100
cute
people who get to
tiny
the end of this little
onion
treasure hunt. They're gonna be in the
emoji.
same group as the people with the golden coins
Cute
from
tiny
last
emoji,
merch
thank
push.
you.
So, you know, rewards are coming. We're keeping track of this stuff. So, where could these clues be hiding? Let me show you what I got. This time we worked with the factory for 4 months to have a specialty fabric made for our t-shirts. This isn't just your typical ink some stuff on a shirt merch. It is all built into the fabric itself. It comes in genocide run or pacifist run editions. Or you can be a total completionist and get both. Also, since it's
Oh, new
back to school
emoji.
season,
Oh my
we
god,
made a
it's
new,
golden,
heavier duty
yay!
backpack. Like,
Not
this
fast,
thing
thank you
is
for the cute
solid.
tiny
It is
dino
loaded with tons of
dancing,
pockets and
yay!
places to store pretty much everything you own. It is rugged enough to hike up a mountain, or let's be serious, more likely to be loaded down with 5 AP textbooks and dragged between convention halls at Anime Expo. Can do all of those things too. There are new socks to
Ooh.
complete your outfit since
Never went to an
you never
anime
have enough
convention
neon green
before.
articles of clothing, a pop socket, which if you're not familiar with them, is the single most useful phone device that you will ever own. You hate dropping
What,
your
really?
phone on your face at night? Well, now you don't have to. You want to prop up that phone to binge watch some FNAF theories? Pop that socket. You want an easier way to
Wait,
take photos?
what?
Sock it to me. Get
Oh,
two
what
and you
later
wrap
game?
your
How much do I
headphone
have to
cord around
catch
it.
up?
Seriously, these things are the best.
It's
They're so
in
darn
2
simple and they are
hours, 3
so
hours, don't you
effective.
worry.
And what back-to-school collection would be complete without your own Theorist Moleskin notebook? Now, I know from meeting you all at conventions that so many of you are either artists, writers, or theorists of your own looking
You
for
can, if
notebooks
you want
help
to go,
your
you can
ideas.
go.
So
It's
this was
okay.
something that
I
thought a lot of you
understand.
would appreciate. It even comes complete with some pages ripped straight out of my own theory brainstorms. All of it works great, it looks great, but most importantly of all, it's gonna make you feel great. So get on it. Ace your back-to-school look right now by heading over to the merch site. It went live with this episode. Or you can always wait until the end of the episode where I can throw that link right into the video itself, or you can always dual-wield the windows next to each other so you can do both at the same time.
I place I watch the scene so we can continue
Because when we run
together.
out, this stuff is gone. Everything is limited edition.
Okay,
And last round of merch we had,
you're
stuff started
adorable.
to sell out in the first 24 hours. If you place an order this week, you're guaranteed
I
to get
love
it before the end of the
you,
month.
kitten,
So go ahead, give it a
Patootie.
look. I hope you like what you see, and I cannot wait to see you sporting some new Game Theory green. Now then, let's wrap up FNAF, shall we? Even though this is part 2 of the timeline, we've still got a lot to cover, so in the words of Phil DeFranco,
Ooh.
Jump into it.
That was a monkey.
covered everything up through the second Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria location. Things like why the missing children's incident must be the first event of the timeline, the identity of Golden Freddy, why Circus Baby's Pizza World has to come earlier in the timeline than most people expect, and a quick review over how Michael Afton is the crying child from FNAF 4. But all of that left us with a big question. If Michael Afton is the crying child who gets himself bit, then how is he able to come back later in the timeline for games like Sister Location and Pizzeria Simulator? Well, this is where the books once again come in to give us the solution that no one would have predicted. You see, at the end of FNAF 4, we get the lines, "We are still your friends."
Aw, so
You
cute.
still believe that. I will put you back together. We've never actually established who speaks those words. Ultimately, the best guess that we had was the puppet. But here's the thing, it can't be the puppet. Based on this, my final and best timeline of events, William hasn't killed Henry's daughter yet. The puppet isn't possessed yet. Instead, that line is more likely coming from William. It's him making a fateful promise to his dead son. I will put you back together. The thing is, he takes that promise a lot more literally than any of us would have ever suspected. He is literally promising to physically put his son back together as a robot. And we know from the final FNAF novel, The Fourth Closet, that William in that story is obsessed with bringing life to these machines. And even more importantly, we know that in Scott's vision of this world, robots who think they're human and don't realize that they're robots is a real thing. A huge twist at the end of the final FNAF novel is that the main character, Charlie, Henry's daughter, is actually revealed to be one of these sorts of robots. And not just a single robot, mind you. Charlie is one in a series of 4 robots. That's what the title of the
What?
book is referencing. She was kidnapped and killed by Afton as a 3-year-old girl, and in his grief over losing his daughter, Henry built 4 robotic versions of her, each one slightly older than the last, implanting each version with memories so that she could grow up just like a normal kid. Quote, Charlie would be a baby, then a little girl, and then a sulky teenager, then at last she would be a woman. She would be finished, perfect. End quote. It's
Well, that's kind of weird.
And it opens up a whole heck of a lot of plot holes in the novel, but I honestly think that this might be what happens to Michael Afton in the games. Clearly, he dies during the bite of 83. The survival logbook confirms this over and over and over again. That is locked in. But Michael is literally rebuilt by Afton, put back together by William. The books allude to it, it fits with the timeline, and most importantly of all, it explains why he doesn't die after getting scooped in sister location.
I should be dead, but I'm not.
Why his memory is so foggy throughout the survival logbook, but most importantly of all, why he can only die through fire. Have you ever stopped to consider that? Michael Afton lives through getting himself scooped at the end of Sister Location, but passes on just like all the other animatronics at the end of FNAF 6, when the remnant in his body is burned away. Remember, based on our timeline, William Afton has already seen his daughter die in Circus Baby, and has also probably seen that her spirit possesses the suit. So he knows it's possible for a living spirit to be inside these robots. It actually might be why he sends Michael down to explore Sister Location in the first place.
Father, it's me, Michael. I did it. I put her back together, just like you asked me to.
He knows that Michael's sister, his daughter, is still down there, so he's aware of what she is, and it might be his way of breaking the news to Michael. Hey there, kiddo, there was something I was meaning to tell you, but unfortunately, kinda trapped in a wall right now. So go down into that creepy cellar I have and pay a visit to your sister. She might prompt some really existential revelations. And lastly, consider this. In the bonus cutscenes for Sister Location, Baby establishes that she knows that Michael can't die.
But then he died.
You won't die. You won't die.
So she might just recognize that they're one and the same. This insane sounding theory, and trust me, I recognize that it sounds completely bonkers, may actually tie into the mystery of the FNAF 4 box. What's in it? It might actually be Michael Afton's body. Yeah. Remember how I just said that in the 4th closet, the main character was actually the 3rd in a series of 4 robots? Well, she almost gets herself killed at the end of book 2, and is discovered midway through book 3, locked in a box that sounds very similar to the one that appears at the end of FNAF 4. Quote, John moved to a large green chest, the paint almost entirely worn off. There was no lock. John knelt beside it, found the handle, and heaved it open. Then shuddered. It's Charlie, he said hoarsely. In the chest. She was locked in a box. That's insane. She was locked in a box. Who knows for how long? Days? Months? End quote. I actually know how long she was trapped in the box. It was 6 months. So anyway, is this definitive proof of what's in the box and that Michael Afton is a robot? No. But it's definitely circumstantial evidence. And think about this. Remember that Scott kept the box locked because he was worried that the fan base wouldn't accept the answer to what was inside of it. Well, can you blame him? If he kept a broken robot kid inside of the box, that would probably upset a few people, because at this point in the series, it would literally come out of nowhere. Up to FNAF 4, this was just the story of a creepy, haunted animatronic pizzeria. Nothing about robot kids.
Wasn't it scared to show that it was all a dream?
Weird directions. Anyway, with the bite of 83, Fredbear's family died.
I don't know anymore.
Leaving only Freddy Fazbear's second location, Junior's, a new, larger location with upgraded security in the form of the toy animatronics. But after all missing children from their last endeavor, Henry wanted to take an extra special precaution to further protect his daughter. He installed an upgraded surveillance system in the form of security puppets, specifically programmed to watch one child, his daughter. As an added nod to where Security Puppet fits into the timeline, Scott very clearly included the puppet's signature gift box as part of the visuals in its minigame
so cute.
6, a box that only occurs in the FNAF 2 location. You can even see what looks to be wanted posters in the back alley, thereby establishing that a crime had been committed in this area previously. William Afton returns, and because he's a prime suspect in the missing children's incident, is not allowed back at the pizzeria. That's why we see him turned away at the door to Junior's. As a result, he's forced to kill Henry's daughter outside, behind the facility. Her soul goes on to possess the security puppet, and she proceeds to give life to all the other lost souls.
It was not the other
puppet?
puppets?
5 animatronics. We know this based on the Save Them minigame, where we see the puppets searching for someone to help the dead children lying around the pizzeria. The toy animatronics are standing on stage lifeless. But most tellingly of all, we see the original versions of Foxy, Chica, and Bonnie inactive in the parts and supply room. And yet Freddy is somehow able to freely move around. This shows us that some of the OG animatronics haven't been given gifts, given life yet. It's also worth noting that on rare instances, we get an Easter egg of Golden Freddy broken there on the floor, his ghostly self phasing into and out of existence. And that's not all. Get close to him, and for a brief moment, you catch a glimpse of a white dot appearing in his eye. Golden Freddy has the spirit of Cassidy already in him, except there are 2 problems. First, he's a spring-lock suit. Unlike the others, he can't freely move around because he's not kept in animatronic mode. Despite the puppet's best attempts, Cassidy will be forever trapped in a suit that is perpetually slumped over. But secondly, the yellow Golden Freddy suit is being kept, like we saw, in the FNAF 4 location. Hence why in FNAF 2 and then onward in the series, he's forced to remain as just a spirit. Afton continues to sneak into the pizzeria disguised as a security guard, using his signature spring-lock suit and crank to kill kids. This prompts animatronics to get angry and attack anyone in a security guard uniform. As we see throughout the FNAF novels, and as the puppet reinforces
I think it's justified.
Are like animals.
Like the animatronics killing every security guard because they think it's a mean guy. They can't distinguish, I guess.
Bit in an event known as the Bite of 87, and henceforth animatronics are no longer allowed to free roam in the restaurants. In total, another 5 children die in the FNAF 2 location. Again, shown in the Save Them minigame before the
Wait, how many died then?
Toy animatronics get
more 5?
Let's be honest, they were all kind of crap at their job anyway. But more importantly, it's at this point that Afton realizes the power of children's souls. It's here where he first sees the animatronics moving freely, possessed by the spirits of the dead children and activated by the puppet. And here, through the end of the series, his mission changes. He's no longer just killing kids. He's now looking to actively harness that power for himself so he can be immortal.
No way, what is this?
The 4th closet.
Bro, this is so random, what?
They died in the suits. Their bodies were bound inside along with their souls. The spirit follows the flesh, it would seem. And also the pain. If I wish to become my own immortal creation, my body must lead my spirit to its eternal home. This affects all his future actions in the series. So when the withered animatronics get sent back to the FNAF 1 location for storage and the possible reopening of the pizzeria, William tracks them back to dismantle them and discover their power. This leads to the cutscenes from FNAF.
This is so confusing already.
Systematically lures the original animatronics to the back safe room one by one, only to dismantle them. Before, these cutscenes seemed super random. It just seemed like him trying to get rid of the animatronics for reasons. But now, thanks to the novels, we actually know why he did it, to dissect the robots and experiment on them. And it's these experiments that end up producing the Funtime animatronics. One big lingering question mark of the series was the nature of the Funtime animatronics.
The Funtime animatronics are kind of cute.
How were they alive? Were they possessed by more dead kids? Well, we finally have our answer there, courtesy of Candy Cadet and the Fourth Closet. Now, back in FNAF 6, Candy Cadet's stories were a bit of a mystery. Each one had to do with 5 things becoming one thing. 5 keys melted together, 5 orphans sewn together to fit into one coffin, 5 kittens sacrificed and then combined to fit into one shoebox. It seemed like it was referring to Ennard, the amalgamation of all the other animatronic parts, but the math was always kinda wonky. Ennard consisted of Baby, Ballora, Funtime Freddy, and Funtime Foxy, which is just 4 animatronics. Maybe if you squinted at it, you would include the Bonnie puppet, but that seemed like a stretch. And as a result, we just weren't quite sure what was going on with those stories. Luckily, the release of the Fourth Closet has cleared this mystery up. Quote, a single figure stood still amongst the chaos, out of phase with the surroundings. At first, it seemed to be a man bent over a table, but as Carlton's head throbbed with waves of confusion, the man became a yellow rabbit. Standing over a table, but over 5 children, tied together as one.
Jeez!
Exactly what he was looking at. The endoskeletons of the original Freddy's animatronics, welded and melted together.
Bro, that's so creepy.
And still inhabited by the spirits of the children who had been murdered inside of them.
It's so creepy, what?
Still filled with life, and motion and thought, all trapped, all in terrible pain.
That's so horrible.
So in the FNAF 3 cutscenes, we see William dismantle the animatronics. From there, he melts down their endoskeletons to discover the secret of their everlasting life. He then uses this molten spirit metal, Remnant, to infuse life into his new creations, the Funtime animatronics. Quote again, the table's surface was glowing orange and the hot metal hissed. William took a syringe from the woman's hand and thrust it into the squirming thing forcefully. He drew the plunger up, holding the needle steady as the syringe filled with molten substance. He staggered back toward the bear. The man again pried open the heavy chest plate of the standing, broken bear, then carefully inserted the syringe he held directly into the chest cavity and began to press the plunger
Okay, it's
down.
kind of confusing. I don't understand what it's saying, but okay.
Tell us is that the Funtimes weren't just possessed by new kids, they were created from the remnant of the original 5, fused together into one chaotic, confused spiritual mess. Like Ennard said from his original teaser for Sister Location, there's a piece of me in every body. From those experiments,
that's so
William is
bad
able to
and
open
sad
Circus
and
Baby's
terrible.
Entertainment and Rentals, the underground facility from Sister Location. Using Remnant, he brings life to animatronics specifically designed to lure and trap kids so he can have more test subjects for his experiments. He then rents the robots out to special events and other locations. Why isn't there a Funtime Chica in Sister Location? Simply because she's rented out. We see this hidden in the source code to Scott's website around the time of Sister Location's release. Chica's party world is a separate location, a client of Afton Robotics, and as such, she's not being kept underground with the rest of them. That's why she's gone, only to then reappear in FNAF 6 and Custom Nights. But there was one thing that William Afton didn't anticipate in all his plans: the spirits of the children wanting revenge. Now that they were freed from their animatronic prisons, they corner William in the safe room of the first Freddy Fazbear's restaurant, forcing him to hide out in the Golden Bonnie suit, which snaps shut, almost killing him, but not quite. It just transforms him into Springtrap. The restaurant seals the safe room and everything inside to escape liability.
Okay.
Safe rooms are being sealed at most locations, including this one.
To me, this seems like the actions of Henry. Who else would seal a bloody, living body in a hidden room in a pizzeria? Henry seems like the best bet, but we can't know for sure. Regardless, Afton is locked back there until the year 2023 when Fazbear Fright opens. The phone dude discovers the hidden room and sets Afton, now Springtrap, loose once more. From there, we know pretty much everything else.
2023 already?
Right, only to have it burned down.
Bro, 7 years ago.
This again was Henry's doing. The ultimate Custom Night Samurai cutscenes symbolize their relationship. William Afton is the fox.
No, wait, that's real. I thought it was fan art.
The bear of vengeance. The last line of dialogue in these samurai cutscenes says it best. I will pursue the fox. I will find him in whatever land he has fled to. It is my destiny and it is his. Throughout the games, Henry is constantly trying to thwart William in escalating fashion. He starts by getting him kicked out of the FNAF 2 location. He then tries to get him arrested in the aftermath of the missing children's incident. He traps him,
guy's so mad.
locked in the walls of Freddy Fazbear's, and finally he sets him on fire not just once in Fazbear Fright, but a second time in Pizzeria Simulator. Meanwhile, the rebuilt Michael Afton, Michael version 2.0, searches for his dad to get some answers. He starts in Sister Location, meets Baby, but falls victim to the plot of the furious tangle of spirits held in the various Funtime animatronics. Together, they form Ennard and scoop Michael's body in an attempt to escape their prison. The scooping plan works, but Michael survives because, remember, he's a robot. Baby seems to know this based on her repeated use of...
True.
You won't die, you won't die.
More in need of answers than ever before, Michael promises his father,
I'm going to come find you.
which leads us at last to FNAF 6. Even though the puppet tried to free the spirits of the dead children in FNAF 3, it doesn't quite work. This is because the spirits were no longer complete, with parts of their souls now trapped in the Funtime animatronics, which themselves are now in the form of Molten Freddy. This is why Paragraph 4 is such a big deal.
Molten Freddy is creepy.
Based on the Insanity-ending blueprints, Paragraph 4 stipulates that all creatures containing Remnant must be in the pizzeria by the end of the week, so that when it burns, everyone goes with it. All remaining Remnant must be purged in order for the souls to finally be set free. Michael accepts the role as night guard at the simulated pizzeria. Henry summons all the animatronics there, burns it all to the ground, and finally releases everyone, including condemning William to hell.
I guess.
everyone. Golden Freddy, still a vengeful spirit, has a bone to pick with Willy, so she traps him in purgatory, forcing him to suffer for eternity at the hands of the monsters he created. And despite Old Man Consequences telling her to relax, she won't quit. Hence her soul still being in Golden Freddy's twitching eyes as he fades out into the darkness, and as the series hits its final notes. I don't know about you, but between these last two videos, I think that's about as thorough as you could possibly want. So there you have it, FNAF theorists. As deep of a deep dive as I can go, trying to answer as many questions as possible, all while putting things into an order that makes sense, while also accounting for as much of the evidence as possible. Is it a perfect timeline? No, but I don't think there can be. I think Mr. Hippo's custom night lines point us in that direction.
I suppose if a person just wants to talk, then it's best to not announce that you're telling a story. Telling a story does come with its own pressures and expectations.
This one is so philosophical.
After all, if you're just talking to a friend, and there's no more expectations than if you were talking into the wind. Words by themselves aren't expected to carry, aren't expected to stick. But if you announce you're telling a story, well then, there'd better be a point to it all, you know?
And conversely, at some point, you just analyze down a story to the point of meaninglessness. In the end, whether this whole
I think Hippo is
right wrong,
really... I don't know if it's true that it's all philosophical, but if it is,
covered on this channel. Yeah, we've covered
it's amazing.
A lot. A bit more than I would have liked, quite honestly, but for good reason. Few games give their story this much thought, and even fewer games tell their stories in such a compelling, mysterious way. I've said this for a while now, but FNAF is the perfect modern game. It's cheap, if not free, so anyone can play it. The mechanics are simple. It's fun to watch other people play it.
Like right
Damn it! And it seeds in Easter eggs that get other people talking online. 4 years later, and still, only a handful of indie games and practically zero AAA games have followed in its footsteps, despite FNAF's massive
I guess,
success.
I don't know.
And that, perhaps, is the single greatest and saddest mystery of them all. If this truly is the end, thanks God.
It's
for an
not,
incredible
bro.
ride
Don't worry.
that has forever changed my life and this channel. But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory. Thank you for watching every single one of these videos. Woo! Now that the FNAF mystery is solved, go out and solve my merch mystery. I'm not gonna be doing a theory on this one, so it is up to you to come to the solution. Remember, first 100 people to solve the mystery get a special prize. I worked really hard on this merch. I'm really proud of how everything turned out.
I think it's late for me.
Love every item that we're offering, so check it out. Click the link you see on screen right now to check out the merch store and place an order because supplies are absolutely limited. If previous campaigns have shown us anything, it's that things can sell out really fast. So if you're interested, check it out right now. So now if you'll excuse me, I'm so excited to do something other than FNAF. Wonder what Fortnite's up to these days. Season 5!
Okay, after this one is cookie time, and then we come back.
No. No. No, God, no! No! No, God, no, no! No!
Yeah, more games, I guess. Wait, Link died? What? Oh, so cute!
Screw it. Let's talk about this thing. By all that's unholy, FNAF is somehow back. Someone got together their little summoning circle of Funko plushies and recycled Chuck E. Cheese pizza and awakened the sleeping behemoth that is Scott Cawthon, and now here we are
pizza.
with a new trailer for FNAF 7.
Now I'm hungry.
And me, in children's pajamas. So thank you, Internet. Also, can we just agree that this is creepy, right? Not me wearing kids' PJs, certainly, though. Come to think of it, that is really weird.
And that's not for kids, it's that big, it's for adults.
That is dedicated to an animatronic that gets dead children stuffed into him.
True, bro, what?
Merch in 2019. Yeah, indie games.
This
Now,
was in
at the end of last
2019,
summer, FNAF was
jeez.
basically done.
6
The book
years
series had concluded, FNAF 6 had burned
Time
the
is
series to the ground, and
crazy.
Ultimate Custom Night ended the story by trapping William Afton in eternal torment. All that was really left was the movie. Just like Jeremy laid to rest on a nearby hillside, it was time for the series to finally rest in peace.
I guess.
But then, back in November, Scott hopped onto Steam to give all us Fredheads an update, and suddenly, the movie was the least certain thing of the group. A VR game? An AR game? More books? A third
Let's
new game called Into
go.
Madness? Clearly, Scott intended me to be the protagonist of that one, since that's exactly where I'm headed to with so much new FNAF headed our way. Even a AAA game, where apparently instead of stuffing children into animatronics, they start getting stuffed into loot boxes.
No, what?
Fast forward 4 months to today.
No way.
Here
Loot
we are,
boxes in
the first
FNAF?
new Scott Cawthon teaser in nearly a year. A teaser for one of the items on this massive list of animatronic horror sent to taunt me. But which one is it, and what it means for this new era of FNAFing is exactly what we're exploring today. So, let's get
I
into
don't know.
everything. First, let's just assess what we're seeing here, shall we? Clearly, you have 5 animatronics that are all melted together, which would be
I know,
interesting
that's
enough on its
creepy.
own, but making it even more compelling is the fact that they all span the history of the franchise. You have Freddy, Foxy, and Bonnie, all in their FNAF 1 forms, but then you also have the pre-mangle form of Funtime Foxy from Sister Location, and also pre-trapped Springtrap from, well, a lot of different cutscenes throughout the series, but most notably
Okay.
from the Fruity Maze minigame dating in FNAF 6. You can actually tell this based on the general shape of the nose, as well as the lack
It's
of
kinda
decay and
different.
aging that you normally see post-Springlock failure. But since this is a Scott Cawthon teaser, you know that there's gonna be more here than just a cool image. If you throw this thing into Photoshop and start brightening it up, step 1 in any FNAF teaser analysis, you're gonna see
Okay.
the background has lines. Lines with some oddly inconsistent spacing. And of course, you have text.
There's
The
a
quote is from
text
Fazbear
there. Oh,
Entertainment
yeah.
in the upper right-hand corner saying that everything is working as intended, but also a not quite so hidden bunch of text right here in the middle of the image that you really gotta squint to truly read. Don't listen to them. Blank, let something inside. It was an accident. Remember Jeremy.
Jeremy?
That's the guy from the gravestone. The night guard who has his name
Okay.
on the paycheck from FNAF 2. The supposed Bite of 87 victim. Ladies and gentlemen, sound the alarms. We are talking about the Lobe Lad himself, which means that there's only one option
That guy
here.
is Michael.
We are in the same continuity. Cue the party horns and cheerful children sound effects. I know we were all eager to throw out our textbooks at the end of last semester, guys, but it's time to break out FNAF lore for dummies.
Wait, that's real?
Final time.
Oh, sorry for the ads.
You're watching a toothbrush play Billie Eilish.
Whoopity-doo! Who's excited? This guy, I guess. Now, creating my own ARG over the last couple months has taught me a lot of things, specifically better ways to hide and code messages. And one
Okay.
particularly effective but simple way to do it is by opening image files as text files. So
Wait,
when
that's
opening this
possible?
Image file in Notepad, we actually get our answer to that first missing word. Don't listen to them. We let something inside. It was an accident. Remember Jeremy. So with all of that evidence compiled, let's start
didn't know
analyzing
this was
before we start digging
possible.
deeper. Because there's a lot deeper to go, ladies and gentlemen. We are just scratching the surface. Now, the phrase "remember Jeremy" actually tells us a lot of things here. First, it tells us both the speaker of that line and the person it's directed to know who Jeremy is. Secondly, it tells us that the events of this game are happening in the aftermath of his death, which at this point is commonly accepted to be the result of the Bite of 87. So from a timeline
Okay.
perspective, it looks like this quote is coming after 1987, meaning that we're after the string of murders in the FNAF 2 location, and
In a bit, I'm gonna get so
Michael
confused
Afton's
again.
visit to the FNAF 1 building and his discovery
There's so much
of Sister
information already.
Location.
In fact, knowing where in the timeline this quote must fall and seeing those lines in the background of the teaser, my mind immediately jumps to prison bars. Now,
what?
That seems like a
I guess.
Clearly, these are just meant to be tiles, and while yes, that's probably what they are, the inconsistent spacing still felt weird to me, and it resembled the narrow strip of horizontal bars that many prison doors have. Now think back, way back, to when this story first started. Back to the secret newspapers from FNAF 1. The things that first told us that there was a deeper story to begin with. Quote, video surveillance identified the man responsible and led to his capture the following morning, end quote. And on the follow-up story, headline, 5 children now missing, suspect convicted. Well, the suspect has been charged.
So they got the guy on jail?
So if these newspaper clippings are still considered canon, this former employee was convicted.
No way.
They found him guilty, and as a result, most likely he went to prison for his crime. And we can be fairly confident that this isn't Afton, since his only comeuppance seems to have been the Springlock failure and the eventual eternal torment in HE double toothpicks. Meaning that there is still a potential story to be told of someone there who's trapped in prison, wrongfully accused, haunted by the nightmarish amalgamation of animatronics that got him thrown into the slammer. At least, that's my wishful thinking for a potential plotline for one of these stories. Is it the story that we're getting in this game? Probably not, but a boy in Freddy pajamas can dream.
That's so cute.
Let's go back to the text. Don't trust them. That them could be referring to the animatronics, or it could be referring to the members of Fazbear Entertainment.
Okay, don't you tell me that Fazbear Entertainment knew all of this.
Working as intended. Now, as established by Ultimate Custom Night, the only haunted characters who still possess rational thought are Baby and the puppets.
Okay.
Like animals.
What?
Very aware.
Which eliminates everyone that
They're
was
like animals, poor guys.
Making it doubtful that the them in this quote is referring to the animatronics. Instead, this seems to be 2 employees of Fazbear Entertainment talking to each other, basically confirming not to trust what the bosses are saying. All the other lines here, we let something in, it was an accident, remember Jeremy, seem like those same co-workers realizing that something is wrong and that it relates to a mistake that they made, a mistake that's ultimately related to Jeremy's death, and now they're both worried about their own survival. Remember,
okay, so the thumbs are not the names of the kids that were killed, and now they're in the animatronics.
Him. So now, looking back across the games, what are some of the mistakes where something
Stuff
deadly
changes
has been
so fast.
let in? Well, you got Springtrap being let into Fazbear Fright in FNAF 3. You have basically the entirety of FNAF 6's salvage minigames, and Ennard from Sister Location. Ennard, who, funny enough, during the false ending to that game, repeatedly begs you to let him in.
Okay.
You must let us inside the room.
Which room?
And where in the series do we have
What
two
accident?
coworkers who wind up dead because they let something inside? Sister Location again. Now, it's a scene that's really easy to forget, but night 5 of Sister Location actually starts with Michael Afton crawling through the vents and suddenly coming across the hanged bodies of 2 former technicians, co-workers, done in by the newly escaped pieces of Ennard. So we have something where the placement in the timeline makes sense. The relationship of the characters to Jeremy as co-workers.
Hello, Shield Gamer, how are you?
The skepticism of Fazbear Entertainment definitely makes sense.
Was the class good?
That's not all. Their role specifically as technicians
Are you ready for the
makes
surprise?
sense with everything that we're learning about
You
this
can go
new
the surprise,
game. You
yeah.
see, Scott wasn't content to just give us 1 teaser. Oh no, he gave us 8 separate images.
I think I'm ready.
Apparently to
Oh my god, why did you do that?
I mean, sure, we just analyzed the imagery
It's
and text of this one image, but if
There's
you check
no
the source code of Scott's
problem.
website, which at this point is
I
FNAF
will
Research
sing
Step 2,
while I'm
right,
watching
images, you'll notice odd
this.
strings of text, all with this tag, content
This is gonna take a while, gonna wait some 5 minutes.
The URL bar, it reveals a
I have to wait 5
the
minutes.
first and most important of them, we're going to be playing as a technician. Here, in this image, we can actually see
Don't
Freddy's
worry,
body
I will keep
picked up,
singing
ready
for
to be
5
worked on,
minutes.
which
perfectly coincides with what Scott
It's
teased when he initially mentioned the possibility
really
of this new VR game.
fine.
Quote, if you liked repairing Funtime Freddy up close and sister location, just wait
Thank
until you try to do something like that in VR. Up
No, I'm
close
watching.
and personal. With these
FNAF
huge
Lord,
animatronics
it's
that are
also
just one mistake
confusing. I
away
don't
from
understand
jumping at you.
anything. Jesus
Another of
Christ,
these
that's
images,
scary.
the one of Bonnie without the eye, also is
Wait,
teasing
why
at this
Bonnie
idea
doesn't
of
have
no
an
longer
eye?
being
I
a
don't
guard, but
know.
rather an animatronic tech having to repair all of these robots. So
Lol,
could the main
Manzanita.
story of this new FNAF game actually be the story
Well,
of these
they
two hapless
did.
technicians who end their lives in an underground robotics
My
bunker? If the
God.
quote on this teaser is to be believed,
Sing
the
the
answer
portal
seems to be a solid
radio.
yes. If it is,
What is a
it even
radio
relates
loop?
back to the
Wait,
title of the game. You see, going back to look at the source code yet again, you see that the original teaser image is listed as HW.jpg. Now, back in February, my buddy Dawko tweeted out that a new FNAF game had gotten leaked on the ESRB ratings website. ESRB, man, get your act together. First you leaked the Super Smash Bros. 4 roster, and now you're leaking the new FNAF game. It is time to stop. It's time to stop, okay? And yes, this is someone else's meme, but I thought it was appropriate
Why
for the
is he holding a
situation.
giant clock?
Plus, I'm in
So
pajamas. Thought it would be funny. There it is. Filthy Frank, miss you. But in all seriousness, this game's title is Five Nights at Freddy's VR Help
VR
Wanted,
is scary.
HW, just like the name of the
My
teaser.
God.
The description for this leaked game even confirms
You're
that you will
referencing
be
a meme.
playing
Thank
as
you for
technician.
telling
Quote,
me.
once again, players
What meme,
assume
by the
role of a
way?
repair person
Because I
tasked with
don't
monitoring and repairing animatronic characters
Because
at a
I don't
pizzeria. From a first-person perspective, players explore dark hallways, complete puzzles, and try to avoid menacing, malfunctioning animatronic figures. The game contains frequent screams and jump scares with the words, "You are dead," appearing on screen as the players are attacked. End quote. And
I'm
what
just thinking
happens
so
when you
much of
lose
singing
technicians to
that I
sudden animatronic-related
can't actually
fatalities?
focus
Time to
on what's
find some
happening
more. Throw up
in the
sign,
actual video
"Help
I'm watching.
Wanted." So we have ourselves a VR game starring a technician who's
Wait,
repairing
okay,
animatronics.
let me see what you're talking about. Let me change this. I thought you wanted me to sing for 5
Slowly coming to
minutes.
realize that they've made a terrible
We
career
still have 2 minutes. So we have to
looking across all
wait.
of the other
I'm
teaser
sorry.
images, it feels like this whole game is inextricably disconnected. We see scenes from all the various settings we visited in this
Okay,
franchise.
so
The tile
you
floor
went
behind
like
that old model of Bonnie suggests that it's the FNAF 1 location. This
this.
shot
I don't
of
know
Springtrap
how do you
looming in
want
the
me to
background tells us that we're going to be visiting
sing.
Fazbear Fright.
Please
The
tell me
appearance
how do
of
you want
full-time
me to
Fox in the
sing
teaser
for
suggests that
5
we'll be
minutes?
visiting
You have to be
sister locations for some
explicit.
challenges. We're even gonna be
Yes, I
visiting
saw the
Crime Child's
video.
bedroom
It
from
has
FNAF 4
green
based on
screen
this
and
shot
the
of
clock
Baby.
broke in the middle
Notice
of the
iconic closets from that game,
video.
as well as the
The
bedspread
arrow
design in
thingy
the
fall
background. So, is
down.
this game just gonna be a bunch of
Broke.
vignettes? A
I don't know
compilation
what
of the
am I
series'
doing with
greatest
my
scares,
life.
only now they're in VR?
My God, only one more
think so.
minute for
I
the
do
singing to
think that this game
finish.
can and will tell its own unique story that builds out the lore of this franchise. And one of these teaser images solidifies
How about
that
sing
point.
like Ariana
True to
Grande?
form, Scott, it is biggest
God
reveal.
is a woman.
You see, going on to Scott Games
God
one
is a
final
woman.
time.
Yeah, I don't know how to sing like Ariana Grande.
Something seems
How can I sing like
Paying close enough
that?
attention. You see,
My
the
voice is
meta
horrible.
label
What is
for the
happening?
website
And
is
5 minutes
spelled
passed.
with a 0 in between.
Bro, how can I sing
And if
like
you go
Ariana
through the source code
Grande?
with a really fine-tooth comb and a really keen eye, you'll actually notice a couple more typos. An R in content. A big
Bro, I
old
need to get
G
some classes on
and
singing
an
for
N
this
in the
now.
word text. 0RGN. Type those letters into the URL bar and you get this.
Bro, how do I
Now,
sing? I don't
clearly
remember
it's been
anymore.
obscured very heavily, but if you blur it and affect the contrast a little bit, change some of the levels, you actually get something that looks more like this. Something that doesn't
You
just
sing
look
it like
a
Ariana Grande.
one
Thank
animatronic in
you.
particular. Notice
I
that
appreciate it so
Center. It's Ennard's
much.
signature appearance. Half closed eye, horizontal
Oh my God, the
lips,
guy
and
has
every
one
skeleton
eye
looking
bad.
to be
Ariana
large.
Grenade.
So,
Oh my
there
God,
you go.
that's so
We have
funny. I
ourselves a
remember
new
that.
game telling us the
I love
story
that
of two
meme. Your
technicians
voice is
who
a
made
grenade.
fatal career decision.
Thank
Based
you.
on the fact that the game already has a rating, I'm assuming that we're gonna probably see this one coming out
Grinding to
pretty
get
soon. It's weird.
for
Thinking
this
about a
new
FNAF game
rewards. I
coming
have
out
to
on
get
something
some
like
singing
PlayStation
class. Jeez.
VR. I'm excited.
Ooh, VR
to see.
Freddy.
Will I be right in my predictions? Well, we're just gonna have to wait and see. And by wait, I mean it's probably out already.
Thank you. My voice is a grenade. It's powerful, I guess. Slow.
Because, you know, that's how Scott goes, right? Is it out? Is it out yet? How about now? Right now. It's there. Nothing?
I guess.
Right, screw it. I'm gonna go get out of these pajamas. But hey, did you notice the new theory?
Thank you, I will drink.
It's a name that I have a lot of fun with, and it's available right now on the merch site. Link is down below in the description, but hold on. While you're down there, you can actually win yourself $100.
No, I first like spam it 6 times the direction I had to go and fill my water bottle. Done, yeah. I take 1 sip every time.
Honey. Sure, I may be,
but it's not a small one, it's a big one. Okay.
Online, but when it
do another one.
Online shopping, not even I'm willing to put in that much effort to just find a bunch of expired coupon codes. But with Honey,
okay, done. Done. Yes.
You can actually get the lowest prices online without even having to put in an ounce of effort. And it works.
Another one, okay.
Online, be it Walmart, Amazon, Best Buy, eBay, Sephora. Whether you're buying a video game, cat food, or a hair dryer, it just saves you money. Not using it is literally just throwing your money away.
Sorry. Okay, more.
Steph a bunch of hair and beauty products as gifts for Christmas, and Honey, no joke, saved me over $60. Which gave me plenty of cash left over to
get done, yes.
On the side. Binding of Isaac on Nintendo Switch.
What? Binding of Isaac is on a Nintendo Switch? Okay, more.
Not only can you win the gift of free cash every time you shop online just by using the extension, but you can also win $100 of our Theoryware.
It's my guess I'm there, right? I guess. Done, yes, I agree.
Within 14 days of this video's release. That's it. That is literally all you have to do. And then from there, one lucky winner will be selected to get whatever merch they want, which also comes with a note from yours truly. Honey is truly one of the best tools that you can use online. That is why over 10 million
gotta go buy. Okay, thank you, Shield Gamer. Bye.
For your chance to win that $100 of Theoryware, just go to joinhoney.com/MattPat. Joinhoney.com/MattPat. MattPat, or
bro, I don't. Bro, this is gonna help me get stay hydrated now.
Been on YouTube. It's very common. It shouldn't come as a surprise. Honey is literally only 2 clicks to install.
Hey, creator, could you put tutti? Are you there?
/MattPat.
Hey, creator, could you put tutti?
Enter that Theoryware contest today. Now,
the creator.
This FNAF teaser actually has something else that I need to talk about.
But that's scary.
Is for next week.
Okay, so you know I have singing modes. Now as a reward. I need to get singing classes, bro. Because I can't sing properly. It is so hard.
Just have to get FNAF off my chest.
I get off Tom so easily. Oh, but that's even funnier. Okay, do you want me to keep like that? Okay, now it's cookie time. Cookie time. Let's proceed.
We cover a lot of scary stuff on this show, but today is, no clickbait, the scariest topic of all.
Really?
Copyrights.
No way.
All my favorite topics in one episode. I love 2019.
What? What is happening? Ooh, cool music. Thank you.
Hello,
Fact news, okay.
Welcome to Game Theory, where today, call me Gloria Bolja, because our top story is an oopsie. One big oopsie made by one big man. Actually, I don't know what his relative size is. He's just big in the gaming space. And that man's name is Scott Coffin. Now, if you're not familiar with what happened, let me catch you up. Last episode, we analyzed a teaser image for Scott's new VR game, FNAF Help Wanted. What I didn't mention in that video, though, was that it was only online for for just a couple of hours. In fact, by the time I had gotten to check out this thing, it had been wiped clean from the internet, only preserved thanks to some dedicated Redditors, specifically GB Oro Recharged.
Okay.
Now, Fred is no stranger to posting things only to rip them off the internet later. He's done it with comments on my videos, he did it with version 1 of FNAF World, his contents of the infamous FNAF 4 box, yep, those got changed. Heck, even the script for his new movie was written, approved, and ready to shoot, and then he just threw it out. It's like, this community deserves better. But
what?
This time, it was
okay,
different.
that's why the movie takes so long, I guess.
Working on the VR game, Steel Wool had unintentionally used fan art. As he said,
oh my god.
My first teaser in more than half a year was made using questionable choices at best and traced fan models at worst.
Oh my god, no.
To clarify further, quote again, as you all remember, the artwork that I teased for the game, which was actually a portion of the cover artwork, included characters that had used fan art and fan models as references. When I learned about that, I was obviously pretty upset and took down the teaser. The person working on the artwork used images that he thought were mine. If anything, everyone who had one of their models referenced should pat themselves on the back, because your models look like they were canon. I think it's a testament to the fan community that the fan models rival mine. Many of them looked identical, and some of them look better. So the TLDR of this whole thing is that he pulled down the teaser because it used recolored, reskinned models made by a fan of characters that Scott Cawthon himself created that looked so close to the original creation.
Kinda, yeah, true.
The team couldn't tell them apart from the originals. And
oh, come on, some of them are kinda easy, like the Springtrap is all, you know,
have to do this. These
all falling apart.
After all. And the fan-made models were so close that they probably wouldn't have been seen as any sort of transformative use. Now, obviously, he cares about this community a lot, and pulling the teaser was absolutely the correct decision from a goodwill standpoint, but what would the law say about this?
Okay, we're talking about law now?
More complicated and interesting than you might think. To get there, we're going on a twisted copyright
journey, yay!
Why Naughty Dog lives up to its name, why your photographs of the Eiffel Tower are probably illegal, and why everyone's in an uproar about Rule 34.
What?
Oh boy, welcome online. Copyright law doesn't know what's hitting it. That's a terrible last line. Whoo boy, copyright law doesn't know what's hitting it. Copyright law don't have an indicator. Just gonna
what's happening
over to the next paragraph. Oh, and before we dive into this episode, you might have noticed that I actually released another video alongside this one today. In that upload, I specifically talk about this channel and a lot of our own personal issues that we've had with fan art in the past, as well as a way to protect yourself if you're a fan artist who's working online right now.
Okay.
It's actually a really important video for me, touching on a topic that I've stayed really quiet about for quite a long time. So before you go down into the comments and start laying into me for not being allowed to cover this issue because I supposedly stole fan art in the past, please go watch that video too. That's actually why it's a dual upload. I couldn't really decide which one made more sense to go first, because really the two complement each other. They comment off of each other. So just please watch both. It'll do me a favor. It'll save me a lot of grief when I read the comments.
Okay.
Save my self-esteem a lot of grief as well. Oh, the other disclaimer that I should mention at the beginning of this episode is that there's a lot of fan work out there that is transformative, that is not considered to be a copy of anyone else's work. This episode actually isn't about that. Today, we are purely focused on fan art that's intended to closely represent a character that already exists, and all the basic legal mumbo-jumbo that's around that. So, we all on the same page? We all good?
Okay, let's learn about law, I guess. Awesome,
Scott is far from the only game maker that's had a copyright oopsie when it comes to teasing a new game. Case in point, the original version of the trailer for Uncharted 4: A Thief's End was released containing a painting that took images from Assassin's Creed Black Flag's concept art. The one with the pirate. I gotta give credit where credit's due here, guys. That is incredibly on brand. Stealing artwork to promote a game that has the word thief in the title, very smart.
very
Bro,
meta.
no way.
Ubisoft wasn't
Dart is good, by the way.
meta commentary though, and Sony was quick to pull the video and replace the asset. Oopsies like this also aren't just limited to marketing materials and teasers either. Back in 2013, a graphic designer named Cameron Booth made a post announcing that he was effing furious with the fact that the game The Last of Us featured a map that he had made of the Boston Metro.
No way.
I'd like to point out that The Last of Us, just like Uncharted, is a Naughty Dog game. I guess we know what the naughty is referring to in their name.
Lol.
But after what I assume was a swift apology and a fairly decent payoff, Cameron quickly dialed back his language in a later public post saying, "It seems as if matters will be resolved to everyone's satisfaction shortly." Great, I'm so happy for you guys. Money truly heals all wounds.
No, doesn't heal all of them, but okay.
Nuances of the copyright world, because while the graphic designer who made the picture owns the copyright to his map and was absolutely in his right to complain about the improper usage, he actually doesn't have the copyright to the
True, yeah.
Metro itself. Does that sound dumb? You bet it does. In fact, it is so dumb that it can't be anything other than real. Real-world pieces of architecture are subject to their own copyright.
What?
Just
No
like
way.
one musician can't copy the song of another musician, so too an architect can't copy the building design created by another architect. Things get even weirder though when you start thinking about what this means for pictures that people are taking in front of buildings. Those pictures technically are violating copyright.
Why?
Or at least they would be if it wasn't for this idea of freedom of panorama. You see, most countries have some law or general understanding in place that says you won't get sued if you decide to create an Instagram story showing yourself posing in front of some famous landmarks. Notice though that I said most countries. Most does not equal all. Case in point, France. France doesn't have freedom of panorama. As a result, technically speaking, you legally shouldn't be able to post photographs of the Eiffel Tower, but only the night photographs. You see,
Why?
because the Eiffel Tower without lights was built in 1889, that one is old enough to have entered the public domain. But the lights that go on at night were installed in 1985.
Okay,
thereby
I
making
guess.
this an artistic work with live copyright, making posting photos of it illegal. That means that anything
That's
you find
kinda
on the
crazy, but
Google
okay.
search under Eiffel Tower at night was probably taken by fearless outlaws who are flouting the law, throwing caution to the wind, and posting their tourist photos of the Eiffel Tower in the evening. Probably a bunch of developers at Naughty Dog being
Lol.
like, whatever, we don't care. We steal artwork all the time. We're Naughty Dog. We're dogs
Lol.
who are naughty. So what does the Eiffel
Cute
Tower have
dogs.
to do with FNAF fan art? Well, obviously, people are taking photos of the Eiffel Tower.
Jesus,
and
that's a
getting
big
thrown
camera.
in les prisons. I actually didn't learn the word for prison when I took French. And that's because these crazy laws don't matter for people who are only using the image for personal consumption. You put an image on your fridge or you slap it on the desk at your office, you're fine. But the second you publish that image, it becomes a different story. Just take a look at any stock image website like Getty Images, which is a business built on legally owning the rights to every image in their archive, and you'll
Okay.
notice that most of the images of the Eiffel Tower, even the ones with low light, don't feature the lights on the building turned on. And this is where things get tricky. As if they weren't overly complicated enough. You see, if you publish a piece of artwork that features a character like Mangle or
Okay.
Mario or Mewtwo or heck Elsa, and you don't own the copyright to that character, then publishing that fan work is technically a copyright violation.
Kinda,
There's
yeah.
a huge question, what counts as publishing? Now, obviously, publishing includes things
Oh,
like
no.
putting it in a book that
I
ends up
made fan art.
available, but publishing
Oh, no.
actually has a much broader definition in the legal sense. Publishing, in the broadest sense of the word, just means causing something to become public or making it publicly known. That means that everything from printing up and handing out a bunch of flyers on the street to, you guessed it, posting it online is covered. It doesn't even matter if it's a non-commercial type of posting. Posting fan art non-commercially on your blog or a site like Tumblr or Instagram or Twitter all count as publishing that image. And if you're thinking to yourself, wow, that affects a lot of people.
True, that's affects a lot.
Yeah, it does. You're absolutely right.
technically speaking, every fan artist on Tumblr and DeviantArt and Pinterest and Pixiv and their own independent blog, they are technically violating copyright every time they post a new sketch of an existing character that's not transformative enough to be considered fair use. I know!
Oh my god.
I know that sounds unbelievable, and that every fan artist out there is lighting their torch and rummaging for their proverbial pitchfork to come after me right now, but first off, don't kill the messenger here, guys.
Yeah, he doesn't have any fault.
This is the truth, based on the lawyers that I've spoken with and the legal papers that we've read. That is the letter of the law. But the letter is obviously only half the story. Considering, of course, that the prisons across the country aren't filled with Rainbow Dash fan artists and bendy modelers. Though it'd be pretty funny if they were. What are you in for? Kill the guy. You? I drew a pink pony very accurately. In actual practice, the situation favors fan artists a lot more than you might first think. As you can see pretty much everywhere on the internet, it's really rare for copyright holders to try and enforce their copyright. The only instances where you see this actually happen tend to be when a brand feels that the art that's being made really misrepresents their IP. One really convenient example of this in the gaming world is Blizzard, who issued DMCA takedowns across a bunch of different fan art in efforts to stop people from making how do I put this nicely? Renditions of Overwatch characters.
Oh my god.
Compromising situations.
No way.
Loving each other just
oh my god,
for those of you who have before images of their characters in flagrante delicto.
Oh my god.
Embrace tranquility.
Basically,
bro, no way.
People to skip from rule 33 to rule 35 in the Internet Handbook, if you catch my drift. And you can imagine just how effective Blizzard was at accomplishing that goal. Not that I would know personally, I was just doing research.
Oh my god.
For a friend. Anyway, according
to
a
friend, okay.
On fan-made creations, they cracked down in order to, quote, maintain and protect the image of their games. They also said, Blizzard requires that productions maintain the T rating that has been given to its products by the ESRB. And I get that, right? It makes sense.
I guess.
It might have been kind of a futile effort to remove sexy time from the internet. Legally speaking, they're entirely within their legal right to protect their brand. But speaking of legal rights, it is a two-way street. Even though a company owns the rights to its characters, you, as the fan artist, own the right to your individual piece of fan art. So going all the way
true,
back
yeah, how is he gonna do?
Which there's a lot out there. If you drew a picture of Freddy and the cupcake, what are the actual rights for that image? Well, Scott owns the copyright to the character, but you own the copyright to that specific image. So you can't publish it, you own the rights to the character, but Scott also can't publish that image because he doesn't have the rights to your art.
True, yeah.
You are both caught. As it turns out, no one really has the rights to publish that image. Unless, of course, you both agree to it, but good luck there. Scott doesn't talk to anyone. Except for Doggo. Probably a secret son. I don't know. Talks to Doggo.
Sorry, I guess.
Now, what would have happened if Scott hadn't owned up to his oopsie and the situation had actually escalated? What could the fan artist who created those character models have done to him? Turns out a very similar issue has come up and was settled in a fairly famous case with the iconic Obama Hope image from the election. The artist of the famous Obama image, Shepard Fairey, who is actually one of my favorite street artists, created the artwork, but he copied the image from a photograph of Obama that he, quote, found on the internet.
Okay.
It was owned by an independent photographer from the Associated Press. In court, the ruling was that the Hope artwork infringed on the copyright of the original photograph. The original owner of the photograph now participates in all money that's earned by the rights to that image. This is also the one case where I'll actually mention fair use, because Shepard Fairey actually tried to make the argument that his work here was transformative, but the court didn't buy it. In fact, he almost went to jail.
No way.
The upshot of this whole thing is that, in theory, if a legal fight like this one would have happened in Scott's case, it could have very easily landed both parties in court, and it would have actually been pretty hard for Scott to win. Luckily, none of that happened. And I think a lot of that is because Scott holds himself to a higher standard and wouldn't have wanted to do a disservice to his fans. As he said in his apology, quote, "The only thing I care about is doing right by this community." Good on you,
that's
man.
sweet.
My work is easy because
oh my god, sorry for the
here's
ads.
how AI saves me hours every day. It automatically
But there is another compelling reason for Scott to take that teaser down. Money. You see, the other big complicating factor in all of this isn't whether someone is really infringing on their copyright, but whether they're actually making money while doing the infringing. In the United States, criminal copyright laws prohibit you from actually using someone else's intellectual property for your own financial gain. This means that when you post your fan art online, you're not going to face any criminal liability. Fan artists, you are good to go. Sketchy nerd t-shirt companies that are selling unlicensed Nintendo merch, though, you might not be so safe.
Stop! You violated the law. Pay the court a fine or serve your sentence.
Skyrim.
Likewise, if you're selling your own posters of your fan art images, well, that could land you in some legal hot water as well. And I know that this is the most sensitive subject around fan art because of all the commission that artists earn by doing fan art made to order for other members of their fan communities. I'm not condemning anyone. I'm not passing any sort of judgment on anyone else's online business. As someone who uses a lot of online images of other people's IP, I'm kind of digging my own grave here as well. This whole topic just makes me uncomfortable. Especially since that's still not the end of this whole story. There's still only a select couple of ways that you could actually be sued, even if you did commercialize your fan art. The company would need to show in court that your art had damaged their company in some way, using the naughty Overwatch example again, if I can. If Blizzard took the fan artist's court, they would need to prove that somehow this adult-only content,
you know, I'm getting afraid to post my fan art. I already posted it. I can't do anything about that.
Players ages 13 and over. And so the brand may actually get hurt if the first thing that comes up when mom starts Googling Orisa is a bunch of this.
What is
very family unfriendly images. How much, though? It's actually hard to tell. Well, it seems like they would actually have a good case. It's still really hard to quantify how much their brand would get hurt by stuff like this, which is blurry behind me. For your safety, I swear.
Thank you.
My primary consent. And that's a pretty clear-cut case here. In most instances, fan art doesn't compete with the official images from the game. So what does all of this mean for you, the fan artist? Well, it means that you probably don't have to worry about getting sued. And even if you are getting close to getting sued, you're probably going to know that you're doing something wrong long before anything happens. Like in 2015, the Pokemon Company went after a cafe that ran a Pokemon party unofficially at PAX that promoted itself using Pikachu posters and charged an entry fee. Or, in another case, a woman was threatened legal action from 20th Century Fox because she was selling a Firefly-themed hat on her Etsy store. So
what? I don't understand.
Don't charge admission to your next Pokemon-themed birthday party and leave the Firefly apparel for Hot Topic. But to bring it all the way back around to FNAF one last time, while Scott doesn't stand to gain a whole lot by suing his fans over their creations, he does stand to lose a whole lot if he uses a fan-made model in the box art for a VR game that is for profit and could potentially make millions of dollars. See, if he kept those fan models in his box art, it would, in theory, open him up to a much bigger legal problem where he might have to pay thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars in royalties simply for using those two pieces of artwork. So Scott's decision to take down the teaser image was certainly the right thing to do from a moral perspective.
Okay. Okay, I guess I'm fine to publish fan art then.
Perspective. I mean, don't get me wrong, Scott is all about giving back to the FNAF community, but maybe he's not interested in giving that much back. But hey, that's just a theory and certainly not legal advice. Consider this your official legal disclaimer that I am not a lawyer, even though we talked to a lot of lawyers for this episode. And if you get yourself into hot water for making or distributing fan art, you can use this video as an interesting talking piece for legal counsel, but don't assume that I, Matt Pat, will be standing up for
No, you're just a messenger, don't you worry.
This YouTube video about FNAF fan art, no, not really gonna work. Okay? Okay. Keep farting it up out there, guys. And remember, that is just a theory. A game.
A loud theory. I guess, I don't know. It's okay anyway. Ooh, more. Ooh. Huh?
It's back.
No. Yeah, you had to scrap everything, don't you tell me. Ooh, new intro.
Welcome to Game Theory, the show that clearly doesn't understand the meaning of the word final. It's finally over. That is the end. Last FNAF lore theory FNAF is at its end. The end. Final FNAF theory. But can you really blame me? These games have confirmed endings in FNAFs 3, 4, 6, and Ultimate Custom Night. It's like Doctor Strange saw 14 million different endings and Scott Cawthon was like, I'll take them all! You don't think FNAF World's inclusion of FNAF 57 Freddy in Space was less of a
FNAF
joke,
57.
more of a preview of coming attractions. So anyway, it's back. Call it whatever you like. FNAF 7, FNAF VR, Help Wanted, MatPat Insanity Simulator. But after a year of detoxing, Five Nights at Freddy's is back with a new official game in the series, and it, more so than any other installment, feels like an inflection point. A game that is simultaneously looking back to pay tribute to where these games began, as well as a game that's looking forward to lay the groundwork for where this franchise is headed. This isn't just some quick VR cash grab for the series, this is a pivotal game in the canon that closes the book on the old lore and also launches us into FNAF, the next generation. It seems to answer some old mysteries from the previous games, all while opening up the themes and tone for what's
Green
to come.
chest.
And there is a lot to unpack here. This is, without question, the meatiest game in the FNAF library, which is impressive because it's still a VR title. So let's not waste any time and get started with the basics. Now, in case you don't have a VR headset, I've actually played through the entire game on GT Live, so you can check out all the highlights.
No! Whoa! Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Did we do it?
And lowlights of my playthrough over there.
Hello, boys and girls. I'm here to give you
No.
the happiest day ever. Come with me, wayward souls. We've got vengeance to strike.
But let me quickly
I
take you through
guess.
what you need to know
That
for
sounds
today's
funny
theory.
to
In
play,
Five
but
Nights at
I will
Freddy's
get
Help
scared
Wanted,
and probably
we're playing
hit
as a
something
beta
with the
tester for a new
glasses.
Freddy game. As we're told in the opening cinematic,
we know that Fazbear Entertainment has developed something of a bad reputation over the last few decades. While it's true that some stories associated with our name were loosely based on actual events, the majority of them were total fabrications from the mind of a complete lunatic.
Okay.
And yes, that picture is really Scott Cawthon canonically inserting himself into this game. That is a discussion
Well,
for
I
another
guess.
episode, my friends, because it throws all sorts of weird monkey wrenches into the lore, but we'll get to that later. So according to the intro, Scott's Games gave Fazbear Entertainment a bad name, and the point of this Freddy Fazbear virtual experience then is to poke fun of their past, clear their name, and ultimately rebuild
Lovable
brand.
company, I guess.
Simple enough, right? Play through some loving recreations of past games as well as some new minigames, and that's it. Job complete. A new generation of Faz fans fall in love with all these new characters and add to Scott Cawthon's growing pile of money. Speaking of merch, Fazbear Entertainment ain't the only ones chilling for their supper. Game Theory merch is also perfect for birthdays. Heck, probably even more perfect for birthdays, Scott. And, wouldn't you know it, we just released a bunch of new items for you. Can't sleep at night because you got some creepy animatronic hanging out in your
That's
closet?
sad.
We've got you
Don't have an
covered.
animatronic that is creepy in your
It's the perfect way
closet.
to keep animatronics at bay because it's powered by USB. You don't even
Wait,
have to worry
really?
about your batteries running out at 5:55 a.m. Or maybe you're just looking to be the best dressed at your friend's next pizza party. Stay fashionable
Ooh.
while making sure to stay out of the employees only room.
Okay.
In your new his and hers
I know,
Game
you
Theory
see
shirt, a purple
missing
Fierce Pride t-shirt for
peas
the
and
ladies
stuff. Oh my
with
god, that's so
reinforced sleeves and neck, and the Codebreaker shirt for the guys. Asymmetric because I think it's really fashionable in clothing, but also with Easter eggs Benedict built into the design of the shirt. It's a shirt and a puzzle for you to solve all in one. We've also got socks, guys and girls underwear, a jacket, and only a limited amount of everything available. So once they're gone, they're gone. If you're a fan of these channels,
I was talking
and all
about
the hard
what?
work that we put into each and every one of our videos,
Oh, the
and I
Tiny
hope that you can see it. These videos do
Yay!
take a lot of time and effort to put together. Buying socks or a shirt or a jacket is the single best way to support us. So not only are you showing off your fierce pride, and not only are you getting yourself a piece of high quality clothing, you're also just supporting us and our efforts to really do something better here on YouTube.
Okay, I was talking about something and I forgot.
You actually understand the lore of these games, or pretend like you understand the lore of these games by nabbing yourself some new.
I don't understand,
link is
actually.
right here, or it's on the top line of the description. Now, with that out of the way, back to VR. Playing through the game, it is legitimately impressive. Pretty much everyone here is recreated in a stunning 3D environment. Bonnie, Baby, Funtime Freddy the puppet, heck, even Easter egg appearances by Mini Renas and Lolbit. Characters that most of you watching this probably haven't even heard of before because you have much better things to do with your brain space than I do.
No, I heard about those.
Everyone is here in this game, except for one important
Golden Freddy?
Golden Freddy.
Slay.
Laura isn't around either, but you know, I said important.
Oh, poor Balona or something. I don't know the name.
Recreations of the first 3 installments of the series. You don't just forget about one of the most important characters to the lore of these games. Well, that's because it isn't some careless oversight. Golden Freddy isn't here for a reason. It's our first clue that this game isn't just a joke and is a canonical entry. Specifically, it tells us where it falls in line with everything else that we've played through. Golden Freddy isn't here because she's busy hanging out in HE double Chica arms with William Afton.
True.
Back to the end of Ultimate Custom Night and our previous theories. By tracking the voice lines used throughout the game over screens, we were able to piece together that we're playing as William Afton in that game. Child care extraordinaire. And that the whole game was him trapped in heck to atone for his sins. And the thing that was keeping him there was the one he should not have killed, a girl named Cassidy. The spirit who had an axe to grind, possessing the Golden Freddy suit. The reason Golden Freddy isn't in FNAF VR is because the spirit is down there tormenting Willie A forever. From here till the end of the series.
Oh, come on, poor tiny face.
Ending of Custom Night
Sad.
is Golden Freddy twitching off into the darkness. Cassidy never gives up her soul, no matter what Old Man Consequences said. Further cementing that Help Wanted is now at the end of the FNAF timeline is this miserable little creature right here, the Scrap Baby plush. Because
what is
wouldn't
that?
you want to cuddle with something that rips in half and eats children alive? Let me remind everyone who doesn't have
That's
an
creepy.
index of all 60 plus animatronics that have graced the screen in this franchise, that Scrap Baby is the homeless hobo version of the old baby after escaping sister location, and who was voted out of the Ennard tribe sometime between FNAF 5 and 6. Her only on-screen appearance is in FNAF 6, so the fact that a reference to her exists in this game at all means that it must come after her expulsion from Ennard, sometime definitely after FNAF 5, but again, with Golden Freddy missing, it seems to secure it after everything's burned down and closed. So we have ourselves a company that's trying to rebuild its reputation after a series of tragic events. Seems pretty simple, right?
I guess.
Of course not. This is a FNAF game. You know that the story is never going to be that obvious. Hidden
The story is confusing.
that, when collected, unleash a new monster into the hallways of this pizzeria. What the game's files refer to as Glitch Trap. A yellow bunny with purple eyes. Yellow bunny with purple eyes, you say? I think I might know where this is headed.
That's,
As you collect more and
that's
more
look like a
this
plushie.
glitch rabbit comes closer and closer, becoming more and more fully formed. Beat all the minigames, and you unlock the final challenge, Pizza Party. A nightmarish fever dream that mashes together every location that you just played through. Waiting for you at the end of this horrific maze is the single scariest moment from the entire franchise. And I can't emphasize that enough. It is literally chilling. What you learn is that you, a 7-year-old, have been lured to the back room of Freddy. And what awaits you is your pizza party, complete with your favorite flavor of cake, all your best animatronic friends, and then Glitch Trap calls you to follow him. The music fades. Suddenly you're on stage. You're holding Freddy's microphone. You are Freddy. You've been stuck. You are now a missing child.
Oh my god, no, that's depressing.
Briefly to the song that you're being forced to stand up on stage and sing. This isn't just a spoopy jump scare of some goofy character. This is real horror. So it definitely seems like this new character, Pedo Hair, over here is William Afton. I mean, sure, the suit isn't as bulky as a Springlock suit, but he's got all the other qualifications down. Yellow bunny fursona, check. Association with the color
That's not
purple,
yellow.
check. Enjoys children's
That's
pizza
brown.
parties, just a bit too much? Big old check again. Then again, to call this character William would be missing a huge chunk of this game's story. This isn't William. Like I said, he's trapped in eternal torment with Cassidy.
Oh yeah, true.
Over here tell his life story.
Rye bread was always fresh on Tuesday. They made sourdough bread on Monday and threw it out Wednesday. What was I saying?
No, to understand who, or better put, what this thing actually is, we need to examine the tapes that summoned Glitch Trap here in the first place. Scattered throughout the various minigames are 16 glitching cassettes left behind by a former game dev, Tape Girl, which, when put together, tell the story of a failing game company, a bit of malicious code, and some very stabby office supplies. We're also introduced to the story of another beta tester who was in our position before us, named Jeremy, making this the third time that the name Jeremy has appeared in these games, with the first being FNAF 2's Night Guard, and then again on the gravestones in FNAF 6. Coincidence? I think not.
Yeah, true. It's not coincidence. I guess.
In chronological order.
There are more. They may not be in order.
Which leaves us the task of shuffling them into some modicum of sense in order to put the story together of what really happened while this game, the game we're supposedly playing now in its final form, was in development. Going through the tapes, I've done the shuffling for you, and I think I've come up with the most cohesive narrative based on the evidence and what Tape Girl actually says. She begins by telling us that the game's then playtester Jeremy has been complaining to his manager Dale about nightmares. Except he's not explaining them like they're nightmares, he's talking about them like they're real.
He wasn't talking about it like someone telling a friend about his dreams, though. He was pale. He doesn't even jump anymore. He just stands there like he's talking to someone.
Pale? Doesn't react to scares? Talking to themselves? Sounds to me like he's going crazy. Either that or he's just a FNAF YouTuber. Hashtag relatable, am I right?
What?
What he's working on is this one, Freddy Fazbear's Virtual Experience, which includes some code that was inherited from Fazbear Entertainment. Scanned off some old hard drives to save him time and money.
It was just junk. Circuit boards and things like that. It seemed to take hold by itself. But then, he started appearing. At least that's what Jeremy said.
Manager Dale doesn't seem to take Jeremy's warning seriously, however, and instead he starts documenting all of Jeremy's behavior in preparation to fire him.
You can always tell when a company is getting ready to fire someone. The thing about it is that I don't think they were going to fire him because of anything he was doing wrong. They just knew he'd seen something.
This confirms for us one major detail, that the scariest thing in the FNAF universe is crunch time. Working long hours until you're driven crazy and then fired at the end? Man, it's just like the real-life games industry. It's uncanny. These games just get more and more realistic. So Jeremy is going crazy and no one is listening. Flash forward to tape 6, where Tape Girl talks about coming in early one morning to see the supply room lit and Jeremy in the darkened testing room. It's a short tape, but it's an important one because it sets us up for tape number 9, when we learn that what she saw looked like a Halloween mask laying on the ground and a bunch of ink both on Jeremy and scattered around the floor. But that's not ink, and that's no mask. The ink is Jeremy's blood, and the mask is Jeremy's face, which he presumably sliced off his own body using the aptly named guillotine paper cutter. We know this to be true thanks to tape number 4, where we hear Tape Girl say that the cutter comes from the supply room and that Jeremy expressly knew where it was.
I didn't even know we had one in the supply room. I was always afraid of losing a finger. That seems so silly now. Jeremy used to do design work. I guess that's how he knew it was there.
And for as extreme as this sounds, we know that he sliced off his face due to all these minute details about how his face was obscured that morning.
I went back and peered in the window. I couldn't see his face. He had the visor covering his head.
Anyone else getting some bizarre Bite of 87 vibes from this story?
No, I'm kind of...
So Jeremy eventually dies from his
I don't
injuries.
understand.
After Jeremy's death, things start getting even weirder, which is a relative statement considering that this is the FNAF franchise we're talking about. Tape Girl overhears a conversation about a lawsuit in the aftermath of Jeremy's death, which makes perfect sense given that he died a horrific death on the job. In response, the company starts taking some serious steps to cover their tracks, namely to sell off the game and destroy evidence that could incriminate him. In the meantime, Tape Girl takes over Jeremy's role as playtester, and all we can hope is that she really cleaned that VR headset before she put that thing back on. She has 3 days to playtest the game. Across her audio logs, we learn that in that time, she sees Glitch Trap for the first time and comes to learn that he's attached itself to her audio logs. She tries to delete them, but can't. So instead of deleting them, she fragments and disperses them into the 16 small pieces we've been collecting throughout our playthrough, warning us that they shouldn't be reunited at any cost.
Hide all traces of these logs that I've created. I fear that finding them and reassembling them will also reassemble the very thing I've tried so desperately to destroy.
Whoops! Probably shouldn't have hidden that info on tape 15 of 16. After that, though, she seems to backtrack on her story, saying that in fact the entity in the game can be killed, and that to do so we should reassemble.
But how is an entity in a game alive?
Got them all anyway, so
it's so
might as
weird.
well see what we can do. Glitch Trap attacks us once we have 16 tapes, and if we don't respond in time, we trade places with him. For a brief second, we see through his eyes back down at the console that we were just operating.
Why is it possible to do that?
Truly melded with his, just like the voiceover warned about at the top of the game.
Fazbear Entertainment is not responsible for accidental digital consciousness transference.
So that's a bad ending. But if we do manage to properly follow Tape Girl's instructions as he's trying to mind meld with us, well, he still seems like he escapes. Or at the very least, he definitely doesn't die. This should have been
but
like
is
some Mr.
it
Smith
like a
in the
game
Matrix
character
moment where
inside
all
the
his code
game?
disintegrates or something.
Instead of
but
a
instead,
game?
We're trapped on one side of a door in the game. A bloody, hand-printed door with scratch marks clearly showing people stuck in here desperately trying to escape. And we see Glitch Trap practically skipping off into the darkness. This doesn't seem like the ending we should be getting for putting all the pieces of the tape together and following all the tape maker's instructions. That would basically mean that FNAF VR has 3 losing scenarios here. Getting
in this game, it's about playtesting a game. Okay, so are what we see? We are playtesting the game?
That can't be right. Can it?
Well, it's a game inside a game?
Maybe that's the point of the game. Maybe we are
the game was coded with code from the animatronics.
The canon ending of Sister
Okay, this is confusing.
Was a bad ending, with Michael getting scooped. The canon ending of FNAF 4 was a bad ending, with the crying child getting bitten. In FNAF 6, you and literally everyone else burned to death. I mean, it's considered a victory, but you still
a game within the game.
Look closer at the text of the audio log.
So how do we know what is the game lore and what is the just playtest game?
In a logical way, and we know she's a real person in the real world because she's observing things from outside the game's testing room. Things like Jeremy complaining to management and the stuff that's present in the supply room. But then, upon closer inspection, you start noticing some strange anomalies. For instance, we have 2 tapes that both start with her introducing who she is. A hi or a hello followed by, you don't know me, or can you hear me? Which is our first hint that something's a bit off. The same person is making these tapes the whole time, for the same audience. So why introduce herself to us twice, in both tape 1 and tape 15? Why would one end with her saying,
Now I fear that those logs are being used as a Trojan horse.
Trojan horse. At this point still was making the games. Yeah, I guess.
Telling us to hide the logs, but
I don't know, bro, it's so confusing.
There are more. They may not be in order.
Basically inviting
if the lore was confused, now it's another level. I guess it didn't do much thinking on this.
About face relative to all the previous logs, where suddenly she says out of nowhere,
this could be like not official lore. It should be like an alternate universe or something.
These instructions really do work, and she's so sure about
because
it.
No, it's so weird.
If this method was actually effective, and she knew it was effective, Glitch Trap wouldn't be in the game anymore, because she would have followed her own advice and wiped him out. How would she even know that this system works? The answer is, it clearly doesn't. Or at least it doesn't.
No, they're still trying to tie the book lore too.
That's because she's not
trying to get you know, it's already so confusing. How are they gonna do that?
Well, we don't have every piece of the puzzle in the story. Here's what I think actually happened with all these audio tapes. The tape maker starts out genuinely making these logs to document the weird stuff that's happening in the game studio. The stuff with Jeremy, really happens. She really sees Glitchtrap in the game, but on her last day of playtesting, she tries to delete the files and fails. Instead of killing Glitchtrap, she undergoes a digital consciousness transfer, just like we do in one of the 3 bad endings, trapping her in the game and
3 bad
releasing Glitchtrap,
endings?
presumably into her own body, or just releasing him into the real world. Both of which are possibilities that the game explicitly warns us about in the opening sequence.
Fazbear Entertainment is not responsible for accidental digital consciousness transference, real-world manifestations of digital characters.
That, my friends, is
Oh
why I
my
always have to
God.
read the disclaimer. From inside
That should
the
be
game,
illegal,
she's now
but
stuck,
okay.
with her only hope for escape being to go through the same process she just went through from the other side. She creates a new log, starting over
Remember
by
when the first
saying,
game was just about a more than possessive robots? True.
reality is
It's
saying,
just so
hello, can you hear
so
me?
weird already.
Since she's now making the log from inside the game. She tries to create a new story that encourages a future developer to piece the logs back together, and then seeds one final log out there to tease the idea that a future developer can solve the problem by killing off Glitchtrap using her log assembly method. It's smartly constructed because she's counting on future developers having the same curiosity and determination she did. She even mentions this in one of her earlier logs, Tape 3, that when Jeremy had told the
Tape
developers
3.
that something was wrong,
But as a dev team, we all just saw it as a challenge to find what the problem was and fix it.
we do exactly the same thing, finding what's wrong and following the instructions on how to fix it, only to find ourselves on the wrong side of the door covered in handprints, where presumably lots of other people have been there before us. Glitchtrap, or whoever is in the body of Glitchtrap at this point, Tape Girl herself, disappears into the darkness and takes over our body on the outside. And now it's our turn to wait for the next beta tester to come in, follow the tapes, and hand over their consciousness to us. Now, that last bit there is speculation based on the oddities in the audio logs and the fact that following her instructions results in seemingly yet another bad ending. But even if all of that about consciousness switching and her being trapped in the game and us taking her place trapped in the game isn't the case, the point is, William's back, just not in a way that any of us expected. What seems undeniable in Help Wanted's story is the fact that his consciousness was preserved in the circuit boards that got scanned to make this game. And now he's here, this Glitchtrap, tricking players into letting him escape. It's no longer the same guy. He's now an AI replicating the behaviors of William and snatching the body of whatever completionist is determined enough to play through all the elements of the game. In a funny way, it's exactly like the story we've been piecing together for Petscop. Odd, actually. Maybe they really are one and the same, both made by Scott Cawthon. The biggest lingering question now in my mind, though, how many Williams are out there?
Yeah, how many Williams there are now?
To escape, and now we're the new host body?
Hello, Chill Gamer, how are you?
Copying and pasting its code into any mind out there that's playing its little game. Could we be entering a new part of the FNAF franchise with multiple
Yay!
William
I'm happy.
completely different bodies?
Bro, look how many Williams there are. I finished school. Yay! Now we'll rest a bit. School sometimes is tiring. I hope your school day was good. I'm in the voice chat. I will be in 1 hour in the voice chat, don't you worry.
Or at least your body with William Afton's code in your head is the new killer, and so on.
Bro, how
and
many
so
Williams
forth,
there are now?
to get to FNAF in space.
What?
Hey, that's
There's
just
FNAF
a
in
theory.
space? Oh my god, cute tiny face, thank you!
And we should probably talk about Jeremy. It's weird that his name is used 3 times. There is no possible way that that's meant to be a coincidence. There's also this random appearance of Shadow Freddy, which I found in my playthrough, which again seems like an odd little detail that's
Shadow, it's just...
what
is this? What is this lore now?
Just like the footprints that are outside of FNAF 6's house window. There is a lot more here in this game, but I honestly just need more time to think it all through.
Don't you tell me, I need 2 G's.
Always come back.
And that, my friends, is why you should subscribe and ring the bell to make sure that you're notified of all our new uploads, because you can bet I am not done with this new game.
I'm a go of shocky coconut pastry. Oh my god, that sounds so good. I love coconut. Coconut is good. My mom loves coconut, that's why I like coconut too.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I do really gotta figure out this Jeremy.
And I love pastry. I like sweets like that, cakes and stuff.
It's the linchpin in
I
everything
love
that
it.
came before. This is weird, man. Also, Scott Cawthon's the villain in his own game. But
What?
again, more on that one next time.
No way. Okay, let's go to the next one.
The books
Coconut.
offer a
Coconut
closer
nut
peek
is
at
nuts.
Henry and Roy
Yay!
Maston, how their partnership
That
flourished early
coconut
on,
nut
and
is
how
a
their view
giant
of the
nut.
animatronics
Yes,
evolved over
it's
time.
true.
Thoughtful fans might want to give these sections a closer look
Coconuts.
to determine how they impact the story of
But
the
if you eat too
game
much,
as
you'll
well.
get very
Right there.
fat.
Clear as
Really?
crystal.
Coconut can make
For
me
years,
fat?
I've been trying to piece together
I
the story
guess
of the
I
games,
never
right?
eaten
But
so
one
much
thing
coconut
has
for that.
always served as a major sticking point.
Ooh,
and that
cool
thing has
shirt.
been
It has a telescope.
these books.
No,
Now,
coconut nut is
admittedly,
not a
these
nut.
books
It's
entered
not.
the series at a tough time.
Okay,
FNAF
is coconut
4
a nut or
released
no?
months prior, the game that to this day serves as the single biggest point of frustration for anyone trying
Coconut
to
is
piece together the lore.
Casey's diet.
No
way, Casey, Poor Casey. Does Casey like coconut?
Was just too much.
It's the cocoa fruit of the coconut tree.
So many different ideas.
Okay, coconut is a fruit then.
Bites and balloon boys and new characters and
now
new
we're
toys,
learning about
kids that look like
coconuts.
established characters. I mean, what was real, what wasn't, no one had any idea, and still to this day, we
Bro,
are at
Casey
a
is
loss
kind of
about
funny.
what this game means for the entire franchise as a whole. And then, shortly after
Coconut
that,
has
FNAF
milk.
World
Yes,
was
I guess
the
it
picture.
does.
Well, we all know
Never.
how well that one
Yeah,
went.
no, I tried coconut milk. It's kind of good but weird at the same time.
And sandwiched in between
But it was not purely coconut. It was coconut and rice
in the FNAF
milk.
universe, but not really? Question mark?
Oh my god, so many
When the
books.
books first came out, tried to make it clear what role these played in the greater story, but I don't know if it helped things. Here's his
Bro,
quote.
what if
"The
you add a
truth
Casey
is that
sticker?
After a while, lore can become so
How do
dense
I do
there
that?
isn't any room for a story anymore. Another truth is that what makes for a good
Do you
game
want me to
doesn't
make a
necessarily
Casey
make for a good
sticker? I don't know if there are
Sometimes
Casey
the timeline
stickers
gets so
in
full that the only way to tell a real story
Stream
is to have that
stickers
story set in a
extension.
different
I don't know, I
timeline,
have to
an
see that.
alternate universe, a different location, or perhaps from a vantage point that isn't entirely what it appears to be. It's an interesting quote. True
Maybe
to
I'll
Scott's
add with
style,
a random
it
GIF
doesn't
or
give anything away.
something.
I mean, everyone
Do
immediately
you want to
latched onto
test
this idea that the
what
books
is
were
one of
somehow
history?
a
Take a picture.
separate and
Oh my
alternate
god,
universe,
yes!
but
I have to do that. I will get a GIF of that.
I just did here for
And
the first time in years,
do you want me to do
writing
that now? I can do that now. Do you want me to do that?
one of the possibilities that he raised. In fact, now that all
I
three
can
of the
add
books
it now.
have come
Do you
out
want
and
me to add
completed
it
the main
now?
story arc, we actually know what
I
they
will
really
do that
were.
because I will forget if I don't do it. Wait.
And how their view of the
It's for
animatronics
no! Come on! What? Let me fix that. Jesus. Wait, let me fix that. I don't know why they do that. I told them to make it free. Jeez. Wait. Gonna fix that. I'm sorry, I don't know why that happens. It's free. Apply and apply. Now it's good. You can spam it. Sorry.
evolved over time. Thoughtful fans might want to give these sections a closer look to determine how they impact the story of the games as well. Right there.
It's called Moment in
Clear
History.
as crystal. For years, I've been trying to piece together the story of these games, right? But one thing has always served as a major sticking point, and that thing has been
Let's
these
go!
books.
Now you can spam that.
These books entered the series at a tough time. FNAF 4 had released a few months prior, the game that
What?
to this day serves as the single biggest point of frustration for
Let's
anyone trying to
go.
piece together the whole.
Oh my god, let's go! My god! This is amazing! My god, let's go, thank you! My god, this is amazing! Thank you, thank you! Let's go! Let's go! So many stickers!
Series and sandwiched in between it all is the silver.
Thank you, thank you.
Story set in the FNAF universe, but not really. came out tried to make it clear what story, but
forever from now. Thank you. This is amazing. What the hell is happening? My God. Oh my God. This is a moment in history, yeah. This is amazing. Jesus. This is amazing. Oh my God, thank you so much.
True to Scott's style, it doesn't give anything away.
What? True, yeah.
Everyone immediately latched on to this idea that the books
and forever! Scotland forever! She has become an interesting case. Thank you. Scotland forever! My God! This is so beautiful. This is so beautiful. Oh my God! I can barely hear anything. I just hear Scotland forever. Oh my God! This is beautiful. Thank you so much for this amazing moment in history. I'm so thankful. Thank you so much for the idea of Keiju gifts. I like Keiju. Keiju is really cute and I like his reactions to games. Thank you! Yeah, now my brain is just Scotland forever and a moment in history. That's what's only on my brain right now. I can't think anymore. I'm just like, what? You know? Oh my God, thank you for the potatoes, Manzanita.
Thus allowing this robot child
this was so amazing.
Infusing each one of those robots.
True wall can touch you. Can't touch me.
Weird. Then you haven't finished reading this book, my friends, because this book jumps so many sharks. But that is nothing compared to what this book does to the animatronic baby that we all know and love. Well, the book is actually the perfect fourth adult version of Charlotte, but she's also the robot that still, like we see in the games, devours Elizabeth, and then goes on to get possessed by her. So this one robot is simultaneously Elizabeth's soul inside of Charlie's adult body, but in addition to dancing and singing and extruding out ice cream, she also has the ability to switch between looking like a passable human, so much so that the character here actually gets aroused by her. No joke, and also expanding somehow into a giant clown-shaped
robot. I have another good idea. Okay, tell.
With little balls on the end, as well as sound illusion discs. I mean,
illusion discs? What?
Right? It's a good thing nothing
you can tell.
Appears in the game.
I like ideas. What? What? That's... What is that?
Yep.
Do this.
Games, aren't they? They are.
Let me see. Oh yeah, that's amazing. Oh yeah. That's for sure is gonna be added. Yeah, that's for sure gonna be added. Thank you so much. Wait, I'm saving this. Yeah, for sure this is gonna be added. Scotland forever. Thank you. Vibing now.
Exactly what this book is talking about. The needles,
that's so beautiful, that music.
And yeah, even the weirdo sound of music. You might see right? Well, many hardcore fans want to dismiss the books and treat them as a separate entity. Wall them off entirely from what's going on in the games. You just can't. This book right here, Silver Eyes, is what allowed me to know that Purple Guy's name was going to be revealed as William Afton before Sister Location actually revealed that it is.
Thank you. More spam, you have the powers of spamming. Spam it, make it beautiful, spam it. Yes, spam it. That's amazing. Yes. Spamming is so powerful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This is beautiful. This is so beautiful. Thank you so much. This is so beautiful. I love spamming.
In addition to including more fan art than a typical
This is so perfect and beautiful. Just a radio spinning.
222, second to last page in the book. Thoughtful fans might want to give
Thank you
these
so
sections
much.
about Henry and William a closer look to determine how they impact the story.
Bro, I have to go to the bathroom. I will be back. Don't you worry. Sorry. Thank you for the radio. It's amazing. I love Radio Portal.
No denying it now, friends.
You know what? Radio Portal is one of my favorite characters. It's really important for the lore. I think.
Everything. All our assumptions, all the things that I thought we had solved from the games. And I took a fresh, clean look at this franchise. This time starting from perspective. The books. That book we found an insane fault. Now, I don't necessarily think that's based on this right. I definitely think that there are plenty of holes in it. But I also don't think it's out of the realm of possibility for the story that Scott is trying to tell. It's a theory that's worth sharing because it simultaneously overturns a lot of the assumptions that we made about the series while also filling in a lot of logical holes in timeline events. This is a big one. And in terms of your thoughts on it, big like, what we missed in Snap kind of big. Here's my theory for you today. Mustard Man. You know, orange guy from FNAF 6.
This is so beautiful. The music, not the FNAF lore. FNAF lore is crazy.
Prime Child isn't any member of the Afton family. He is Henry's son. And then that would be this, and this Henry's daughter. And therefore, this then would be Henry's daughter's empty room. Now, I am sure there are plenty of you hardcore fans out there who are ready to tear this huge list apart. This is clearly the Afton household. We have established this time and time again since the release of Sister Location, but stay with me. Sit back, relax. Pull out your pen and paper, start taking notes for your angry rage comment down below. This is a FNAF theory unlike anything we've ever talked about, so I already told you the big reveal in the fourth closet, that our protagonist Charlie is a robot built in the image
it's a
of Henry's
robot.
dead daughter. But there is one explicit on the very last page of the book going to visit Charlie's grave. The real part. The child was kidnapped and killed, and it's a grave that ends up high on a hill with a lonely tree, similar to the very familiar gravestone ending. And
Was not Charlotte the name of the girl?
Into the stone. Beloved daughter.
Ah, Charlotte, yeah.
Emily,
It's Charlotte.
1980 to 1983.
Just 3 years of life,
I mean, there's
Jesus.
no other name written
Yeah,
here, so that isn't her
jeez,
middle
that's
name.
that's little life,
Henry's
bro.
last name is
Only 3 years
Emily.
of
We're
life.
talking about
Poor
the
girl.
Emily family household.
The Emily family
Just
also.
weird. I mean, this is a book series.
She died
filled
at
with
3, I
animatronics
guess?
that are possessed by human
That's kinda
children
weird.
and metallic soul glue, but Emily as
Soul
your last
glue?
name?
Oh
That
my
is the
God.
single largest stretch of imagination out there. And no offense to anyone with Emily as their actual last name. I know it's a real thing. I'm just over-exaggerating my rage for comedic effect. But
Okay.
the important thing here is the date, right? Born in 1980, died
Yeah, 3
in
years.
1983. 83. Should sound familiar, right? Well, why does it matter? FNAF 4. FNAF 4, a game that ends with someone getting themselves bitten, is not depicting the bite of 87 like we all assumed when we first saw that scene, but instead is a game that is set in the year 1983. It frustrated everyone. I mean, why would you choose to do that, Scott? It made no sense for the story that we had become familiar with by that point
she
in the
died
series.
young, poor
It
girl.
made no sense
Come on.
until today. We know that the gravestone is real. We
Who's
know
she?
that Henry
Charlotte.
Truly has a daughter
Charlotte died
who
young.
dies and goes on to become
I
the
think
puppet
Charlotte
king.
is the
So,
puppet.
what if that death took place in 1983?
With only 3
like we
years?
see in
Like,
the
gee.
Opens up a lot of
I think it
possibilities.
is.
You see, the other thing that never quite gets
Hello,
explained
Rifles.
is this empty girls' room that we're allowed to explore throughout FNAF 4's minigame. Clearly, there's a reason it's here, but we never get a clue as to why or who that room could belong to. This, in turn, led all us FNAF
No, I think
theorists
she's a
to
bit
speculate
older.
wildly
Yeah, but
about
they
the owner of
say
this room.
that she
Anyone
died in
with two
1983 and she was
X
born in
chromosomes was up for debate.
1980.
This pigtail girl,
Pigtail.
and that was
Why
it.
do they call
Honestly,
it
because
pigtail?
she
It
was
doesn't look
literally
like
the
a
only
literal
girl that was
pigtail, but
introduced into the
okay.
series at this point.
I guess.
Later, when Sister Location
Yes,
came out,
no,
we got ourselves a
false.
second girl. And everyone
They
celebrated. It was
say
Afton's
that
daughter,
she
Elizabeth,
was
so that
born in
room had to
1980
be
and died in
hers,
1983.
right? I mean, the game was even alluding to it being hers because it was the sister location. But let's stop for a minute and question all of those assumptions. Because
It's weird, I know, no, false. I don't understand it well, but...
What if that girl's room in FNAF 4 belonged to Charlie? Charlotte, Henry's daughter, who dies in 1983. I mean, the room is empty after all.
Pigtail is like
And
a
we're not
small
seeing a whole heck
ponytail.
of a lot of girls
But why is
wandering
it colored
around
like that? Doesn't
And the
look like
year
a
certainly
pigtail.
matches the year of the
Pigtails are
disappearance and
like,
death
you
from
know,
books.
round and
Could
stuff.
that girl's room in FNAF 4 actually be Charlotte Emily's room? Could this whole house from FNAF 4 actually be the Henry Emily household? Consider this.
Okay, it
In
is
the second
confusing
novel, The
already.
Twisted Ones, a climactic final battle happens in an underground animatronic facility. Sounds a bit like our sister location. When our heroes emerge to the surface, they find themselves in the ruins of a familiar house. Here's the quote. "Don't you see where we are?" Charlie whispered. "John, it's my dad's house. It's the room we found. The underground facility isn't under William Afton's house.
Wow, 2 hours
Instead,
already,
in
I
the
know.
books, it's hidden under
Confused
Henry's
yet?
house. And now, what do we see?
No,
in the
I'm already
games?
confused.
A
Don't worry,
hidden
no,
facility
false.
buried
We'll
directly
play
under the
Roblox in
FNAF 4
30
house.
minutes.
A house that we've been assuming up until this point to be Afton's
Don't worry, 60
house.
more
But it's
videos. I'm
starting
sorry.
to look more and more like it might be Henry's. And that's not all. Let's take a minute to flash back to FNAF 6, shall we? Now,
13.
overall, I feel like we've done a pretty darn good job of wrapping up this game's
30,
success.
30,
We know all the names on the
30,
different gravestones. We know what
30,
Candy Cadet is
30,
rambling
30.
on about. We know that Fruity Maze
No,
girl
false.
here,
30,
Susie, who gets
30,
lured away and
30.
stuffed into Chica. Heck, we even know that the
What
game
happened,
itself,
Shield
this
Gamer?
building could be the potential box where the pieces all come together and eventually get burned away. But the one
Box.
thing
Yeah,
that we
what's in the
don't
box?
know
It's
is the
so
answer
many
to
years and
Midnight
still no
Motorist,
one got
a
the
minigame
box.
that, true to form, was the one moment in every FNAF game where everyone collectively looks at the screen and then
60
slams
views
their
of
head on the
FNAF
desk.
game theory. Yeah.
What? There's an orange guy now? Who
No,
the heck is the
30,
kid?
30.
Where did he go? Why is his window
30,
broken? Why are there footprints outside of the window?
No, I false
What
is
is going
30,
on?
30.
I mean, we have smoothed over
Oh my
much
god,
of this franchise,
I'm
and I
sorry
feel
for
so
my bad
confident about
English.
So much of this more.
Oh my
and
god, I'm
that
sorry.
game, that one little mini game is the one that just like niggles the back of my mind. If I could ask
30.
Scott Cawthon one thing about this entire franchise, this is the one that I'd want him to explain. No joke. I don't care about anything else. This
They
is
have
the
a
one
cat
that I
bookshelf
feel so
slay.
befuddled on. Why I'm so determined to solve it.
Yeah,
and why
someone
I'm doing today's
recommended
video.
me
Because in
this,
the past,
and I'm
I've
watching. I
felt
can't stop
fairly
hearing
confident
dirty
saying
now.
that the
No,
mustard
false,
man
I'm
here is
sorry.
because he drives a purple car and he's driving
Yeah,
away
Shiny
from the
Pikachu.
scene where
Yeah,
the
I
puppet
know,
girl
but
died.
I'm watching
Now,
it anyway.
I'm not so sure. It
Thank you for the
always
cutie
bothered me.
emotes.
And literally everyone
I
else,
speak
that
so
a
bad
guy who has
English
been
that
associated
a
with
T
one
is a
color,
D.
the color purple,
Oh
for
my
the
god.
entirety of this franchise
Look
is suddenly
purple.
orange.
Look orange.
Tried to dismiss it as Scott pulling a Scott. But you know, that's not the most satisfying answer. It doesn't feel conclusive, you know? And more importantly,
This is so confusing. I know, I'm sorry. I know it's a ton of stuff.
Either an animatronic
But I try to watch everything you send me, so someone sent me this and I'm still watching.
It was someone in a costume showing
Until
up
she finished
to
this,
lure
I think
the boy
tomorrow of
out of
FNAF
his
Game
room.
Theory lad.
That one
Really?
definitely seems like the more likely
Jeez.
solution, but the only
This is
person
gonna
in the
take a
entirety of
while
this
then.
franchise who would do something like that
How about
is
that?
big ol' Willie A. And why
Yeah,
did he
more
do something
videos,
like
I
that to
guess.
his own kid in his own
It's okay,
house,
I'll
and
watch
then
it.
get mad
No
about it?
worries.
Things just don't add up cleanly. It's a question that really started to bother me
I'm
when
sorry,
I was
but
playing FNAF
yeah,
Beyond Don't Want
let
It.
me see how
Glitch Trap
much
is clearly modeled after the first
you have
suit
all
ever
of
used
this
by
to
William
watch
Afton.
yet.
You can tell based on his stitching. This is a hand-sewn
Stitch?
bodysuit rather than any sort of animatronic suit.
Yeah,
that we
it's
would see
more
later
looks
in the
like
series.
more of a
This
yeah
also
bodysuit.
coincides with the timing of the Midnight Motorist cutscene. which
with all of
shows
this.
the birth of the puppet.
Oh my
One
god,
of the first major
Kitty, thank
deaths of
you!
the entire FNAF story. Glitch Trap
So I don't know
Suit
no
also very
more
distinctly
with
has
over 10
three
videos. We're
toes,
looking to
just like
against
the
the most
footprints outside of
morning
the boy's window.
with this,
Now,
and no video longer
as we
than
know,
45
Scott Cawthon
minutes.
likes to clarify things in his next game.
Okay, do you
If
want
there
to
was
make that?
one
Okay, I
huge
guess.
question mark left from before,
A creator
that
go
Midnight
on a
Murderers
rampage
minigame
to
was it. So we have
find
ourselves a suit that would have been in use around the time of the minigame,
stuff
as well
that.
as a
Yeah, no,
foot
a creator,
pattern
you do
to
the
sign that we
rules.
see
You
in the
eliminate.
Heck, we even have
And
ourselves
say
a
what
potential reference
will
to
not
it
be
from Ultimate
passed
Custom
and
Night
passed.
and
For
the
example,
Twitch
videos that are
cutscene.
passed for reacting, you put a emote that is like a green tea. Okay, I will reiterate.
And if he doesn't open the door, I'll just find a window.
And here's where everything starts coming together. Let's assume that William Afton, in his glitch trap suit with its 3 toes, is the one who's standing outside of that window, outside of Henry's house. He lures the crying child out, now Henry's son, to bring him back to the place that he loves more than anywhere else in the world, Fredbear's Family Diner. But we know that this is also the night where William takes his first victim, Charlotte, who's killed outside of the diner. This would explain why in FNAF 6, the crying
And you know,
child
equation, you
would
can put
actively
a
run to
right
Fredbear's
thing,
father's will,
like
but later, come
for
FNAF
what
4,
we should see, and the cross, red cross emotes on the video that we should not see. Okay, you analyze that, the YouTube videos, of course.
Happened that night. That is what we're seeing in that FNAF 6 minigame. Meanwhile, we have ourselves the
My
Mustard
god, that's
Man,
gonna be a lot,
we're assuming
jeez.
is gonna be Henry. He has a kid who has not only run away on multiple occasions, but he's
No,
so
that's
determined
okay.
to do
You
so
can
that
send
he's
it
willing to
whenever
break
you
through his
want.
own window to get there. So
She might have to. I already did. No, false. I already did. You can only send one. I guess. I don't know. It depends. It's okay. Yeah, no, false. I got to the bathroom already.
Hidden around the room.
It's okay if you pull several. And so now you have to wait until she watches it. My god, that's so many rules. I can't keep much with that. No stacking, just not these reds ones in one go. True, that's true.
Illusion discs to make him scared of the animatronics that he's seeing. His
Yeah, it is kind of crazy.
friends now terrifying to him, causing nightmarish
How do we
hallucinations of the
activate that?
characters, just like the discs that we see hidden inside of Funtime Freddy's chest and sister location. The same discs that Henry is confirmed to have created in the books. These two, right here.
How do I activate that?
In these 2 books. Though most of them in the books
Wait,
bear
let me
Adam's name,
see.
they were originally
Twitch thing.
If anyone in this series
Amazing.
is gonna say a line like,
I'm sorry, I had to take out that. I thought it would work without me doing it manually.
Color that he is, in order to better match the color of his FNAF 4 text, I will put you back together in yellow. And yeah, sure, it's yellow and not orange, but guess what?
I like yellow. I think it's
As the
obvious.
series has gotten darker, so
I take off my hat.
But seriously.
Guess we'll take a prop. For 5 minutes, we'll put a prop. Wait. Done. We have a prop here now. What do you think? No, wait. Here. Yeah, now it's a prop. Me watching anime. Oh my god, cute tiny face. Thank you, Neufals. For 5 minutes, a creator will be in my head.
There. And if the crying child is indeed Michael, as I've talked about a lot in past theories, Henry literally rebuilding his lost son, like he does his lost daughter in the books, explains all of the weirdness of Mike's behavior throughout the series. How he's able to survive being scooped, how he has
I guess that guy is a
memories of his
robot.
past, how he doesn't die after
Okay, I was
robot spaghetti, how he's only able to die by fighting. It's also worth noting that at no point in the series is Michael ever explicitly
Sounds so
identified
good.
as Michael.
Sorry for Lola being
Now,
singing
it
here,
seems
lol.
like Mike and sister location is referring to William Afton as father.
Father, it's me, Michael.
And him saying,
I'm going to come find
As
Oh my god,
Springtrap
cute tiny
appears,
Rexy!
definitely makes
Emo,
it seem
thank
like
you.
he's going out and looking for William, but that may just be another Scott misdirect. It's open to interpretation. I mean, this scene alone still has people convinced that Springtrap
Oh my god, cute tiny
is
Dino
Mike
Daisy! Thank you,
trapped
Murphos.
inside of the suit. Mike Trap, even though I feel like it's pretty well established at this point that it's William Afton in there. It's still Will Trap. But there are people who are vehemently determined that Mike Trap is the reality of the canon of this series.
I don't know, bro. This is so confusing already.
Is all about achieving immortality through the robots.
Immortality.
He's interested in the science of it all. He wants to
This
study
is
the
no
original
science.
Snap Gang and
This is
replicate
no
the living
science.
metal that
Bro, how
resulted
can
from
you
their
take a
death.
soul and
That's
put
why
it on
you see him
robots?
tearing apart
This
the
doesn't
robots
look
in
like
factory
this.
minigames.
This is
He
not
wants access to
science.
their metal. He wants to harvest it to run experiments. He wants
This
to
is
melt
not
down
science.
those living endoskeletons so he can harness the possessed metal to create the
Bro,
fun
does it
animatronics.
sound
I mean,
like
that is the
science,
whole
everyone?
point
This
of
doesn't
Candy
look like
Crush
science.
Stories in FNAF 6. 5 things melted down.
The,
to
probably
create
the
one
guy is a
thing. And it's
wizard or a...
exactly what we see
I don't
happen
know,
as
it's
the huge
from
plot
a
point
ritual or a
Henry,
cult,
on
bro.
the other
What?
hand, is
This is no
emotional.
science.
He's a creator who gets too invested in his own work. He's a bit of a neglectful father while he's alive, but he's devastated when he loses his daughter, turning to the one and only thing that he knows and understands to try and bring her back: robots. He goes to extreme lengths to use his robotic skills to try and bring her back to life, and he does it. He succeeds. He creates the most absurdly lifelike humanoid animatronics ever in science fiction, and they have to be to do some of the stuff that you see happen in these books because it is absurd. But if we are truly meant to apply the themes of these books to the games, then this isn't the Afton family household. It doesn't make sense. It's the Emily family household. It would explain the
I'm
factory
confused
in their
already.
house. It would explain the empty girl's bedroom in FNAF 4. It would explain the 1983 date that we're presented with. It would say why Mustard Man is yellow, why there are footprints outside the window, why the crying child is suddenly scared of Freddy's, and it would even go so far as to explain the line, "I will put you back together." I mean,
Very little
are there
research in the
holes
FNAF
in
these
this
days. Don't you tell me this is, looks
Are there
like
things
some
that are difficult to
whimsical
explain?
Harry Potter, Magic, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, Star Trek, and Terminator stuff already. Looks like a mix of that. Not, it's not, doesn't look like that, but you know, the concepts of magic, souls, and then science, it's all crazy, you know.
Most importantly, to remember that it's all just a theory. A game theory.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching.
Now it's gonna be the last video of today, and then we'll play Roblox, everyone. And we'll be on the chat, voice chat if you wanna.
Ready to have your mind blown by FNAF yet again? Let's do a little trick, shall we? I'm in the process of currently downloading.
Imagine if FNAF also had time travel to confuse things even more.
Oh my
god, cute tiny face! I guess maybe that actually happens. Oh my god, there is! I think there is! Shut up, Into the Pit.
The free one.
Yeah, I guess Into the Pit has that. Bro, yeah, unfortunately, I'm sorry.
On the computer to show you that we are working with absolutely clean and fresh copies of both these games. Open up FNAF.
Okay, but now, okay, what could even make it more confusing?
The eyes telling us that something has happened out in the world. There is
different universes and timelines, maybe?
And you can see here, literally nothing on screen, right? We have slots 1,
What
2,
is
3,
that?
all empty, no trophies along the bottom. And that's the important point here, right? Each time you beat the game, you get a different trophy
I'm thinking
along
of,
the bottom based on what ending
those
you got.
cute.
So
Look like
notice
things you would use in
0
Monopoly.
Trophies, 0 ending, 0 gameplay. Okay, so we're gonna X out of that as well. Fantastic. Hopping on over to Ultimate Custom Night, there is no high scores unlocked. We have no power-ups that have been given to us. Our office is the default office. Nothing, right? No
what about
creepy cutscenes of Toy Chica in her skimpy school uniform.
Yeah,
No,
I guess FNAF has everything in.
Nada. Now,
Does it have
right?
a...
If you think back to the release of Ultimate Custom Night,
crossover!
really
Crossovers! Does it have a crossover?
Who's who in the FNAF universe.
Oh my god, it would be crazy.
To celebrate the ending of the series, burning things to the ground at the end of FNAF 6. Some of the inclusions were obvious, right? Like the 70+ versions of Freddy, Bonnie, Chico,
yeah, there's so many.
Springtrap, Golden Freddy, and the Puppet, right? They're in practically every game.
Let me think. Okay, cutie patootie.
No big surprises there. But then, when the roster kept expanding, you got to some weird inclusions, right? You got yourself Music Man over here.
Music Man.
L-Chip, which is basically
that's
just a
cute, bro.
reference to like
that's
one of
adorable.
failed games before Five Nights at Freddy's. Strange, sapient pile of garbage over here, like not people that you would immediately think of as being included in the like
Springtrap is in Dead by Daylight.
But
I think it is. Okay, that's a crossover. Oh my god. Think about something even more crazy.
If you're not super familiar with that particular game,
let me think.
Your punishment for going too deep into the code of the game.
This is so crazy.
FNAF World is a video game that's
the real life FNAF location,
right? And throughout the
I
adventure,
guess.
you repeatedly have to dive into these glitches to unlock new parts of the world. But you're repeatedly warned against going more than 3 layers deep into those glitches, otherwise you're going to be trapped there forever. And wouldn't you know it, that's exactly what happens if you don't heed the warnings. You wind up at Old Man Consequence's lake, trapped. What makes it so weird to see him here, though, in Ultimate Custom Night,
Creature Kitty Patootie, did you add the bots on the server? Well, about that, what happened?
Is non-canon, in part because of those reasons, but also in
there's
part
a real FNAF
closely tied to the book
pizzeria
than it is to the game lore.
Don't you tell me.
Here he is. Old Man Consequences in Ultimate Custom Night, alongside characters that are definitely canonical in a game that is also canonical, right? It has the canonical ending of William Afton
there's a FNAF theme park.
At the hands
where?
It's almost like Scott Cawthon is telling us that Old Man Consequences is implicitly canonical. He's canonical by association. So, why do I bring all this up? Well, there's an Easter egg in
Bro,
Custom
where
Night
is that?
You've probably seen back when people were playing that game, right? You set Old Man Consequences to a difficulty level of 1, and you start your night. You're gonna turn off the fan, and here we sit. There's no one here to attack us outside of Old Man Consequences, so hopefully he shows up. Oh, and here's Dee Dee, who has, by proxy of doing this, ruined our opportunity to unlock this Easter egg, so we're going to
Universal Studio Halloween Horror Nights in Las Vegas Fright Room.
We're gonna try again.
Never heard of the last one.
Oh, there is. Boom.
But I didn't know there was like a specific park for Halloween.
Falling through the source code of the game, we wind up here. This is Old Man Consequences Lake, right? You may have seen this Easter egg during people's gameplays. But here we go to Old Man Consequences over here, and he gives us his line, come and sit with me a while, leave the demon to his demons, rest your soul, there's nothing else. We concluded in one of our past theories about Ultimate Custom Night that this is Old Man Consequences talking to the vengeful spirit that exists inside Golden Freddy, trying to tell him, hey dude, chill out, move on with your afterlife. Just let William Afton suffer on his own. Because if you listen to the audio that's playing in the background of this scene, you can definitely hear him suffering.
What? Bro, what? No way.
His tormented screams, or, you know, Scott Cawthon shouting through a fan. Now, most people seeing this Easter egg would be like, well, now what do? There's nothing else. I guess I gotta restart the game. Alt F4.
Hey, create. It's for a creator. Okay, chill. Sorry.
For those of us who have played through and know FNAF World better than we probably should, we
so
know
many Freddys.
one final thing that you can do in this scene, right? You can move on over to the top of the lake, and you can drown yourself. Now, in that game, when you did this, it would actually reveal a secret ending that is completely hidden from that game's texture files. It shows a person standing alongside 2 smaller figures in front of this flashing TV screen.
What does this mean?
And their 2 kids. Or at least that's as much as I can make of it, right? And sure enough, you can actually do the same thing here in Ultimate Custom Night, going into the lake and drowning yourself.
Oh, don't you worry. Every video I put like to mark as I saw it on stream. Don't you worry about that. If I see it and as a like, I will not watch it because I know that I watched the video, Shield Gamer. Don't worry. Thank you for worrying.
No hidden ending or Easter egg there. But here's where things get crazy. Instead of me booting up Ultimate Custom Night again, we're gonna hop back over to that brand new, fresh, clean copy of FNAF World that I showed you earlier. Here we go, FNAF World. We have not played this game whatsoever, and we hit start.
What?
No
way.
Without playing a second of this game, look what suddenly appeared on our menu screen. A trophy that you unlock in FNAF World by visiting Old Man Consequence's Lake.
Oh, is that...
In other words,
that's
these
weird.
two games, but more importantly, in the lore of this franchise, these two worlds are connected. So,
Freddy Fazbear.
What does all this mean? That, my friends, is our episode for today.
Do you understand block tales yet? Not much, no false. But I'm getting a bit. I'm getting there. I know it's about fighting. I know it has a story about kidnapping someone. And I'm getting there.
Hello, Internet.
Okay.
Welcome to Game Theory, the channel where it's always April, considering the number of Easter egg hunts we go on. So,
do you see?
Between FNAF World and Ultimate Custom Night is
good animal, thank you.
Reddit user Roxas Lucario, and
it's not a sim, but it's a FNAF game. Thank you, I guess.
Information from across
okay, tiny face, thank you.
The first time you start up FNAF World, you're presented with an opening cutscene.
Something went very wrong. That's why I'm here. I will put you back together.
Great. Awesome. Go to the info page after seeing that creepy opening cutscene, and suddenly the trigger
it's not at Steam.
Activated. Presumably,
you know, they should have all the games in Steam.
Before, so
imagine going to all the platforms to collect all of them.
That's how these sorts of variables work. But what's weird, though, is that the trigger for this drowned ending and unlocking
Nintendo is not in Steam. Oh yeah, true. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's true. Sorry, I don't remember that.
Use that exact same variable name in Ultimate Custom Night. It's not like there's multiple endings in
and
that
PSP
game,
games.
Like Ultimate Custom Night is the fourth game in the franchise.
And Atari games.
That exact same variable name
and Flash game games.
Between the two was very much intentional, and that, my friends, is just scratching the surface. Because this small but very important Easter egg starts laying the groundwork for where this series is ultimately headed moving forward. Where FNAF VR clearly left off, and where the new FNAF AR game, Special Delivery, releasing this October, is taking us next. Oh yeah, didn't you know? There's a new FNAF AR game and it's right around the corner. There's a trailer for it and everything. Because my torment is year-round and unceasing. Looks like we're gonna end up playing hide-and-seek with a bunch of animatronics, but more on that one in a minute. FNAF World was a game that was largely ignored by us theorists because, well, look at it.
You won't get tired of my voice.
That's so cute. That's adorable.
But in all seriousness, for all the memes lol this franchise has, it's never been particularly meta. The lore, on the whole, was its own self-contained story within this fictional universe. The only times things got truly meta was in FNAF World, which sure
let's see.
The appearance of Baby and Henry into the mainline games, but it was also the game where Scott Cawthon literally appears as the final boss, complaining about how sick he was of pumping out new games for our insatiable appetite for animatronic dad. Scott,
my
bird, my friend. Sweet lore down into my gullet.
So cute bird.
I can see why most of us would take this as a joke, right? Scott isn't a character in the FNAF universe, so it has to be just another game for the lols. Except
burb.
Now,
yeah, true. It's a burb. So beautiful.
As of FNAF VR, it's revealed to us that Scott, since the beginning, has played a critical role in the lore of the FNAF universe.
We know that Fazbear Entertainment has developed something of a bad reputation over the last few decades. While it's true that some stories associated with our name were loosely based on actual events, the majority of them were total fabrications from the mind of a complete lunatic. Lawsuits pending.
And if that wasn't explicit enough, the secret tapes hidden throughout the game make it even clearer.
They lied to us.
They're calling Scott a lunatic.
They told us that the whole point of this VR game was to undo the bad PR done by a rogue indie game developer who supposedly made up a bunch of crazy stories that tarnished the brand.
No way!
That rogue indie developer is obviously Scott. That's just where it begins, because FNAF World was trying to tell us something else about where this franchise was headed. Video games crossing into the real world and vice versa. You see, FNAF World is a lot of things. A lot of things.
What, is it like a cupcake flying?
Revolves around the aftermath of FNAF 4. We're told when we first boot up the game that something has happened out there in the real world, and it's having an effect in here, the sanctuary, the world of this particular game. From there, the rest of the game features a main quest that's completely hidden. You could go through this entire game and never come across the actual real plot of this thing. The only way that you would know about this is by accidentally lingering on the first dialogue boxes of the game, which in turn releases glitched 8-bit Fredbear. He's here, he's there, he's everywhere.
Wait, it's glitching.
Glitched 8-bit Fredbear.
Oh my god, that's scary.
In turn, unlock separate missions to find clocks.
Ooh.
And it's here that we find our first instance of video game to real life crossover. You see, each clock is a minigame that connects back to FNAF 3 and all the individual steps necessary to unlock the Happiest Day cutscene. That game's good and canonical ending. If you think way back to that game, it always bothered me that punching random blocks on a wall or double-clicking a random poster in your real-life security office was somehow allowing us to put the spirits of the dead children to rest. But FNAF World gave us an explanation even though we ignored it back at the time. FNAF World, the game world, or more accurately, the spirits that are trapped existing in that game's code, were able to push out and affect changes IRL through those clock minigames. That's how you get these kind of
clock minigames
moments in what is otherwise a realistic
what setup? Thank you.
setting. Now, why?
Hope it was not too much work, Kitty Patootie.
Now, so many years after these games were first released. Well, because it's only starting to matter now.
Thank you so much.
Exactly what we saw happen at the end of FNAF VR Help Wanted. That game established sentient code that was looking to escape from its video game prison.
It was just junk. Circuit boards and things like that. Looked pretty old. Somehow, though, there was usable code on some of it. It seemed to take hold by itself. Things started changing.
What I'm saying here is that in the official lore of this series, official lore that is apparently dating back further than we would have expected, computer code is somehow able to store the minds or spirits or whatever of these characters and eventually rebirth them out into the real world if the right steps are taken. See also Petscop. And in FNAF VR, we see an instance of this happening. William Afton, who was trapped in the circuit boards, was released into the code of this new game, Help Wanted, where he then took the form of Glitch Trap until finally, through us playing the game and collecting the tapes and putting the pieces back together, was able to
yes.
again,
No, 2 minutes.
He was able to escape not just from circuit boards,
I
but
will
out
2
into
minutes
the
and I will
real world.
stop. 2 minutes.
All of this goes back to the story that FNAF World was trying to tell us years ago. The story that we all didn't take seriously because the final
1 minute.
boss was literally an impervious
Rotails. I don't know, no offense.
What? I'm only just
Play.
realizing
Okay,
it now, but
do
Help
what-
Wanted is actually a cute and really brilliant name. I mean, we all thought it was help in terms of like a want ad, right? Help as a video game tester, which is the core premise of the game, but it's also Help Wanted. Glitch Trap wanted, heck, he needed our help in order to escape. So, well done, Scott. Good name. Just like Pizzeria Simulator riffs on the idea of simulator games, but really it's an empty box waiting as a trap to catch the final animatronics and burn them alive. Or how Sister Location is all about a separate but related robotics business.
Next
also about
rotation when if Roblox wins again.
Well done, Scott. Well done.
I don't know how to put that Twitch
Now,
interaction.
you might be thinking, wow,
But every time a game wins, for example Roblox, I ask which games will play, and since nobody said anything, we just assume it's Blocktails. Oh, thank you for the cute tiny hearts! Okay, we stayed at 15:30, okay? Remember that. Okay? Now let's go.